one-on-one at the bottom. Cousins looks right, has a man, touchdown, Drake London. You like that? You like that?
Let's get nasty on a Tuesday. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. I told you guys. I told all of you.
Anthony.
This Kirk Cousins guy, he's pretty good.
I wish we...
Anthony, I wish we could share our text message.
I was just about to say that.
I wish we could show our text thread to the YouTube chat.
Why? What did I say?
Well,
it wasn't
I don't
very...
even know. I can't even read 2 sentences without it going off the rails.
I was passionate.
Passionate, yes.
Yeah.
But very anti-Kirky.
Well, you know,
Very.
we are in the show me state, and you had to show it. And boy, did he.
You believe in him now?
No,
Okay.
but that was huge last night. I don't know where you guys want to start with this. If you want to start off with the Falcons side or the Eagles side, a lot to unpack because no matter what is said, you're probably right. Like, there is a bunch of, yep, that's also true, and yes, that's also true. For example, did the Eagles bail out the Falcons? 100%. Yes. Was Kirk Cousins crap for most of that game? Absolutely. Did he also save the season in that last drive? Yep.
The season?
Oh, yeah.
The whole season?
We had him at 0-5.
Thank you.
I think it's still
They
going
lose-
1-4.
Dude, what? Yes.
Not like 0-5 and 1-4. It's not like your season's insane.
Gary, you know this as a former player. There is a massive difference between 1-1 and 0-2.
I agree.
With the Chiefs on deck. Know what
I
mean?
do agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Eagles blew that game. Where does the blame lie, though?
So
We like to hand out the big pieces of blame pie. Like, who gets the biggest piece from the Eagles side?
when I look, I mean, it can go all around. You can blame it on Sirianni. You can blame it on Saquon Barkley. You can blame it on Jalen Hurts. Like, that to me, I didn't have a problem with Sirianni going forward late in the fourth quarter. I had no issue with it. That is a player execution problem. Saquon Barkley has to catch the ball. He's wide open. Great play call. They called that play earlier where Saquon got down. They thought he scored, but he got down to the one, and then they pushed it in.
Yeah.
But for me,
Which is really
the play
annoying, by the way.
You don't like that?
When your team
You don't
is,
like the tush push?
when your team is on the other side,
nothing you can
there's
do
nothing
about
you
it.
can
Just
do.
deal with
See,
it.
what gets me is, Carey, Anthony comes across to me as someone who'd like the tush push.
I mean, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, who
I was
does?
an Eagles fan, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was Jalen Hurts, yeah. Absolutely.
Just great job.
Me personally,
Odd that you don't like it.
I'm not the quarterback for the Eagles. So. Go ahead, Kerry.
So I think that, I would blame Sirianni for the first opportunity when they got down to I don't know if it was the first or second drive. They got down to the 8-yard line. It was 4th and 4, and he went for it in the first quarter. That to me is it's an aggressive play, but take the points. It's early in the game. You don't need to deliver a knockout blow. It's not like you're going to be able to knock a team out with a first quarter touchdown. If you want to blame him for that, cool. I blame Saquon for dropping the ball on 3rd and whatever. You catch that ball, even if you don't get the first down, which he would have, game is over. And then I blame Jalen Hurts for late in that game, their final drive, not taking a shorter route. You didn't have to go get third. You still had one more timeout left. You still had about 20, 25 seconds left on the clock. You don't have to take that shot and throw that interception. Like, that's bad ball placement. It's a bad decision. And so that cost you the game. And then the other question I would have, because I don't know, and I wanted to look this up, and I think when Drake London got that unsportsmanlike conduct, instead of taking the penalty, normally you could take the penalty on the field goal or on the kickoff. If it's me, he's probably going to make the field goal. This is an NFL kicker, no matter what the distance.
You mean
is.
the extra point?
The extra point, correct.
Yeah.
Instead of taking it on the extra point, why not take it on the kickoff? Because if the kickoff is moved back 15 yards, I get myself more room and more opportunity to put myself in a position to score a touchdown. So you're looking at 15 more yards.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
I didn't second guess that one. I understand where you're coming from, but that's a long extra point.
But it's under 50 yards, and that's an NFL kicker. You can pretty much count it. And it's right in the middle of the field. Like, they get to choose where they.
But if you kneel
Carey
it, you get it at the 30 now. So I don't think
The new rules kind of changed that.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: with the new rules, they're kicking it in the end zone because it's detrimental for kick returners to get the ball in their hands.
Right.
Like, you don't see many kickoffs going to the returners because people are deathly afraid of how this is going to open up and expose the kickoff team.
But I can also counter by Raheem Morris saying, "Hey, squib this thing, then."
They can't squib it.
It has to be in the landing zone.
In the landing zone. They have to.
You
kick
can't
it. They have
squib
to.
it into the landing zone.
All right, fair enough. But as soon as it gets into the landing zone, we're talking about time. As soon as he touches that ball, we're talking about at least 4 seconds coming off the clock there, and then it's 30 seconds.
They would have had to show me that they were able to execute that.
Well,
did you think that the Eagles were, and I know they had to get the first down to essentially win the game, but did you think the plays leading up to that, they instead of like score, because if you score there, game's over. Right, game's over, it doesn't matter. Did you feel like they were just playing to get the first down and like from a mindset standpoint instead of trying to score?
From my standpoint, no matter what you call there, to me, everything changes in that situation. You are no longer playing the Atlanta Falcons. You are playing the clock. I understand what you're saying. It was a perfect play call.
It worked perfectly the last time they ran it.
It was a perfect play call. But to me, you have to run the ball there. You have to get time to come off the clock. Mm-hmm. Falcons are out of timeouts. You have got to drain. You not only get that play, but all of the 30 seconds or so. You can wind it down. Yeah. Take your time out. You have got to run the ball in that situation. It is not about the play call at that point. It is about the game.
For me, you were up 3 at that point. You catch that ball. You take a knee. The game is over.
But what happened?
The player didn't execute properly.
Correct.
I cannot call plays with the mindset that my players aren't going to. He just did it. I just called the same play and he executed it correctly.
I'm talking about the head coach.
I'm talking about all of it.
If I'm Sirianni, run the ball.
If I'm the head coach and I know we got a great play call that just worked perfectly, a quarter and a half ago, and we almost scored a touchdown on it, and we run it again, and it works the exact same way because everybody in the stadium is thinking like you're thinking they're going to run the damn ball.
Right.
And we
Which would
don't.
Be the smart thing.
And he throws it to him in the flat, and he drops it. This is not a, anybody in the NFL that has that pass in the flat should catch it. Like, I'm not.
No dispute. I don't think Saquon should have had the opportunity.
Well,
I think you have to. That's just my opinion. I think you have to run the clock at that point. You have to run the ball.
You run the ball, you don't get the first down. You still, with less time, you still give Atlanta an opportunity to get the ball back and go score the game-winning touchdown.
It's under a minute at this point as opposed to a minute and 34 or whatever it wound up being.
I like Mike Tyson. Knock him out.
What'd you think, Jamie?
Last night, that game, I thought it was 2 teams that looked like they wanted to hand the other team the victory.
It's fair too.
I didn't think there was any real flow to things that were going. I didn't think either offense was really all that powerful. I didn't think they accomplished what they wanted to accomplish. It looked disorganized at times. It looked to me like 2 teams that were really bad, and it was like whoever has the ball last might actually ruin the game for themselves. In this instance, Kirky, he ended up getting the ball and going down the field. And even then, some of the defense on that last drive was absolutely atrocious.
Yeah.
It was coverage. What kind of a player goes for a make it or break it play on defense? You stay on the defensive side. You stub the guy, you keep him in bounds, drag him back in. Instead, they're reaching for the ball. They're getting beat outside.
It's terrible.
It was not good.
Yeah.
I don't know what that coverage was. I don't know what the mindset was. It was almost like, I don't know what they thought. Like, they were giving too much space. They were allowing the receivers to get out of bounds and stop the clock like you were talking about. Like, you tackle the guy in bounds. You force them to throw the ball in the middle of the field.
Right.
Short. Like, we're going to dang on, almost stand on the sidelines. You have to throw the ball in the middle of the field. You don't have any timeouts. Throw the ball in the middle of the field. Try to catch it. And get them down on the ground and force them to eat up clock. But I have no clue what the Eagles were doing defensively.
I mean, Vic Fangio, that's his word. And I love Vic Fangio, defensive coordinator, but that is as easy as it was. I mean, Kirk Cousins could sit back there, made every throw. And I don't even fault Slay on the last one, because Slay as a corner,
that was
you're not thinking you're going to throw it out at that point. You're protecting the slot. You're making sure that the slant. You're making sure that he doesn't cut in front of you. Maybe the fade. You're not expecting a 10-yard out on that one, and Cousins put it on a dime.
He did. The only thing I wonder on that in the defensive coverage there is why there wasn't somebody else in the middle there, like where you know yourself, like you drive that guy to the next coverage if he keeps going. But if not, you're playing on the outside of him to take away that outside route. You know, and I didn't get a good enough look at the end zone formation after by the defense, but ordinarily you let that guy kind of make his cut, you play off his backside, forcing him into the next guy who's standing there. Now, QBs that are really good will still fire it in there and probably get a chance to score.
Right.
But at least you're protecting yourself from that one little out pattern where there's nobody there.
Yeah.
Well, I knew when they got down to like the 12-yard line with, I think they still had 20 seconds left on this. 30 seconds left. This is bad. Like, this was bad defense.
I thought they were going to run it. That's how much time they had.
It was bad defense, the entire drive. That last drive for Philadelphia was a bad defensive outing and showing. And so you lose. I think the blame is placed all around. People will blame Nick Sirianni. Again, he seems to be the poster child for getting a lot of the brunt of the blame in Philadelphia when things don't go well. He did take the team to the Super Bowl a few years ago, but I don't blame him for the play call at the end of the game when they were trying to seal the game. I don't blame him for the defense not playing and pressuring and getting pressure on the quarterback. You know, players got to make plays, and I stand by that no matter whether you win or lose. Players got to make plays. The Atlanta Falcons players made plays. They made more plays at the end of that game than the Eagles did.
Yeah. Crazy. By the way, I thought Troy Aikman had a rough one last night. I thought he had a rough game.
Troy, to me, watching him early and then listening to him, and I'm not saying this, I'm not accusing him of anything. To me, my eardrums, it sounded to me like he was in the sauce a little bit.
Maybe.
I don't know. Again, full disclosure, I don't know that to be true.
Yeah.
I'm not accusing him of said actions. To me, a couple times I was like, somebody's been into the bubbly, I think, a little bit.
When he said, and I quote at halftime, both offenses look good in a 7-6 game, I thought, what game are you watching? And he had nothing but high praise for Kirk Cousins, who I thought was awful for large portions of that game.
Looks like an MVP in those final 2 minutes.
You know what he didn't look like? Desmond Ridder, which is why you give him all that money. But I thought he was the red zone. He was awful. Some of those throws of decisions. I mean, there was a couple of times where he had the two hitch routes. I mean, back foot and stick that thing, and he goes, I'm going to look for a guy who's hammered in the stands, and I'll throw it to him. Deshaun Watson style. But it's all about that last drive. So, yes. Feel good, Jamie. Feel good.
Yeah.
Good for you, man.
Got Kirk Cousins.
You're excited. All right, I'm excited.
And we got the win over the Rizzuto show.
And we got the win over the Rizzuto show. That's right, yeah.
Nice
job. 2-0, guys. 2-0.
Yeah. Listen, this week was not ideal. I texted you guys halfway through Sunday.
Rough.
I'm like, oh my gosh.
It was real rough.
Two teams.
If you're wondering, Marsh took the punishment in week 1. This week, it came down to some tiebreaker situations.
We need to check on this tiebreaker rule.
And in the tiebreakers...
Stop figure out how the tiebreaker works. Who came in last?
It'd be Carey Davis. Carey Davis will be shot with the airsoft gun today.
How do we get this tiebreaker figured out?
It's already figured out.
No.
Yeah.
Moon. Settle down, okay? We had to deal with this all of last year.
Okay, wait till it's your turn.
It will be at some point.
You know what? The airsoft gun is coming for us all.
When you get one, you know the next time it's two. Like, that's the... You don't want to have to
double
get
the
to
pleasure,
one.
Carey.
No, double the fun.
Yeah.
BK,
One tweet
Marsh.
for everyone.
Marsh with the rebound performance. BK with 8. Marsh with 8. I had 8. Jamie and Carey had 7. Came down to the tiebreaker. Carey lost. So Carey, at some point, will take his punishment. You're all right, Carey.
Yeah, I'll be okay.
I know you. All right, it's Fastlane on 101
Got them
ESPN.
thin track pants on today, too.
Oh, really?
Thought about wearing some jeans, but
not to be too descriptive, but they're hugging his booty, too.
Marsh, I can't believe.
I know I will be standing further away than DJ Marshy Marsh was. He was extremely close.
Yeah. He was committed to it.
He wanted the
He had some
paint.
thin shorts on,
I
too.
think he did.
Man, kind of a glutton. I like this.
As they say on the balloon party, we don't kink shame here, okay?
If I really enjoyed it, I would be at the bottom of the barrel, you know?
Very true.
You know?
Yeah.
I didn't want that.
No, you bounce back. That's all that matters. So the next week. All right. Andre Pallante pitched very well last night for the Cardinals. They pick up the win against the Pirates. How high of a ceiling does Andre Pallante have as a starting pitcher for the Cardinals? That's next on 101 ESPN.
If you're in the market for replacement windows, let me tell you about my friends over at Window World. They are simply the best for less. And no secret, been house shopping here a little bit myself. And one thing I notice on a lot of these homes is just the bad windows that they have. Old, inefficient, not very attractive. It looks like it's time for Window World. The Window World provides you with a double strength glass that gives it a strength that is not commonly found in replacement windows. They give you a lifetime warranty that covers all the parts, the glass breakage, and the labor. And one thing about the window, we talked about the efficiency. All that is when it's really cold outside, you don't feel that in the house. Or when it's really hot outside, you don't feel that in the house. That way there you keep a little bit more money in your wallet. And another thing that Window World is offering is 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. It's a fantastic program for all Window World customers. And all you have to do to get that is give them a call. But when you call them, tell them Jamie Rivers from 101 sent you. That number's 314-993-1800. Again, that's 314-993-1800. You can always visit them at windowworldstlouis.com.
he got ahead with strikes, and his cutter is so good, and he's so tough, man. I mean, Pallante deserves a lot of credit for this year, man. He went back down in the minors, fixed, got ready, fixed himself, and he's been one of our best pitchers. I mean, he's been so good, and a credit to him for the hard work he's put in.
That was Nolan Arenado last night following the Cardinals' victory over the Pittsburgh Pirates. Nice win for the boys as they knock off not only the Pirates, but a game that was started by Paul Skeens. So nice work there. And Andre Pallante continued his excellent season by going 7 innings, scattering 4 runs, blanking the Pirates over those 7 innings, 9 strikeouts to only 1 walk. He lowers his ERA to 3.87 on the year. I mean, full stop after this statement. But Andre Pallante's had a superb season for the Cardinals. The question is if he is, and he should be viewed as one of the 5 starters for next year. I don't think that's in dispute. But what's his ceiling to you guys?
I don't think he has enough dynamic stuff to get him into like a top 3 in a rotation. I think that he's a solid 4 or 5, and I think that he could be that for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
I mean, and you've even seen some improvement in his game, not just throughout the season, but also from last year and the year before. Like, this is a guy that kind of came onto the scene out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. The Cardinals loved his grit because they said, basically all he said, whatever I ask him to do, he does.
Yep.
Whether it's come out of the bullpen, be a closer, be a starter, the kid's like, give me the ball. Then he had a little bit of a tough spell to where, his pitch to contact stuff was getting hit hard. And so he went back down, had a little minor league stint. Then he was thrust into action because of injuries. And he's taken that moment, and he's never looked back. Mm-hmm. And now, uncharacteristically, last night, throws, 9 strikeouts?
Yeah.
7 innings again, by the way. I would argue, I have to look at this, but his average, as far as innings pitched, has to be tops of the rotation since he's come back up. Mm-hmm. I think he's had more 6- and 7-inning games than anybody else.
I mean, I don't know that to be fact, but man, it sounds right. It sounds accurate.
It's like no matter what, when he's out there, all he leaves him in for 6 or 7, guaranteed.
Isn't that ironic too?
It's wild.
When you think that it's going to be, you sign Lance Lynn, you sign Kyle Gibson under the guys that they're going to be innings eaters for you, and it's Andre Pallante who steps up. I mean, I'm not even blaming the Cardinals in this or taking a shot. Nobody foresaw this coming. I will say this, take this for what you will, but when I look at, Baseball Reference does this, the players, they do like similar pitchers over career based on Pallante's numbers, similar pitchers through 24, so age 24. There isn't anybody on the list that is really recognizable. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but when you're talking about names like Carlos Marmol and Carlos Silva and Chris Medlin, you're kind of talking about exactly what you noted. Guys that are not 1 through 3 in a rotation. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I just don't want the Cardinals to say, okay, we've got our number 2 next year.
No,
we're good.
Nobody in their right mind can look at Andre Pallante.
I wouldn't think
and
so.
say that. And I'm a big fan. I am. I like what he brings to the table. I like that his teammates are recognizing how good he's been, how solid he's been, all that stuff. It's perfect. He'd be a 4 or 5. It's like being a third liner or a third pair defenseman in the NHL. Like, who cares?
Right.
I know a lot of guys are third pair defensemen had 10 years in the NHL, and they contributed just fine to their teams. You don't have to be an all-star to be a valuable piece of the team.
Right. I agree.
I think he's done a really good job, as you said. I think he has earned his way onto this starting rotation for next year. I think that where he fits in that starting rotation, it depends on what you do in the offseason. If you go into the offseason and don't make really any new additions or don't bring anyone up, whether it's addition via the farm system or whether it's addition from the outside coming in, I don't know where he slots, but I know he's going to be in the starting rotation.
Yeah,
or should be. But that's the part where the Cardinals kind of leave us in the dark. We just kind of are guessing and pulling straws trying to figure out what's what and who's who. But I think he has earned the right. He has done a really good job. Last night was another opportunity. This team is essentially out of the division. No, out, not essentially. They're out of the division, and they are for all intents and purposes, out of the wild card as well. I know the numbers haven't said that, but we all know what it is. But these starts are still valuable starts for all of the people that are getting opportunities right now. And he has done the best job as of late for this starting rotation. Hopefully, he can build on that the rest of this year. He gets a couple of more starts, and then going into next year in spring training.
All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Carey did mention that the Cardinals have been officially eliminated from the division. They cannot win the division. The math now works against them. They have been eliminated from that standpoint, not eliminated, however, when it comes to the wild card, and we will have a conversation about not winning the division again this season a little bit later on in the show. But I want to transition to some Blues. What's the next step for Army when it comes to the retool? And if the team becomes kind of a playoff squad by springtime, and what are the Blues evaluating this season? That's all next on 101 ESPN.
Fellas, are you currently using that little blue pill or that gummy for your ED problems? Well, stop. And you're probably paying too much for it. Don't pay too much. Head over to the medicine shop in St. Charles. They are your destination for cheap ED meds. They've got a generic called sildenafil for less than $2 a pill. Fellas, you're going to love it too. Prescription is required. And if you have busy lifetime, busy schedules, kids and activities after school, you travel a lot, the medicine shop in St. Charles has a program to where they bring the pharmacy to you. And all that means is that if there's a regular medicine that you require from the pharmacy, but you can't quite get there to receive your medicine, they offer free discreet shipping and delivery to your home or your workplace. They also have a beautiful pharmacy in St. Charles. The people who work there are fantastic. Customer service is outstanding. Any questions you have regarding anything to do with cold, flu, allergies, even minor aches and pains, they have got you covered. So please get over there and check them out. But if not, at least jump online and check them out at stcharles.medicineshop.com. Again, that's stcharles.medicineshop.com.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Andre Pallante outdueled Paul Skeens last night. Pallante went 7 innings, gave up 4 hits, walked 0, gave up 0 runs, and struck out 9 as the Cardinals defeated the Pirates by a final score of 4-0. Lance Lynn on the mound tonight for the Redbirds, going up against Bailey Falter. First pitch is at 6:45 on Monday Night Football. The Atlanta Falcons defeated the Philadelphia Eagles 22-21. Anthony definitely liked that last night. And if you missed that conversation that we had at the beginning of the show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to the podcast page. You'll find our podcast, our full show there. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Tonight we have San Diego taking on Houston. Some baseball action for you right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starting at 8 o'clock. We're going to dive into the Blues next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. So what's the next step for Doug Armstrong and the Blues and the retool if the team is in the playoffs come springtime? Basically what the discussion is here, Jamie, is we know that it's still a retool. We think that the Blues are, at the very least, a fringe wild card team, a fringe playoff team. Mm-hmm. But what does the evaluation look like in the first half of the season for the Blues? Like, if you were to step into Doug Armstrong's mind, step into what Drew Bannister's trying to view with the team, what do you think these guys are evaluating?
Well, I think what they want to evaluate right away is just a strength of depth from this team. You know, a lot of people have been talking about, well, the amount of players that are competing for a limited amount of spots on this team. And you want, as an organization, I think you want to make sure that, one, you're picking the right guys that are competing for these jobs, and 2, that the guys that you pick are going to be a part of the offensive scheme or defensive scheme, whatever it is. And by the way, talking to a bunch of people yesterday, the Blues had a fantastic golf tournament at Belle Reve. It was raising money for the Blues for Kids Foundation. Great day. Anyways, everybody over there did a fantastic job, but had the opportunity to talk to some of the players, some of the coaches, just, BSing back and forth. And to a man, everybody says Drew Bannister is like locked in. Talking to Claude Julien yesterday, who is an NHL veteran head coach, he's like, Drew's locked in, man. He's like, we for a couple of weeks now, we have been going over things again and again and again to make sure things that we know what we're preparing to do. We know what the plan is. We know the style of game we want to play, the players that we want. Yeah. And so he's like, this is a guy that is not preparing to just kind of do okay. Mm-hmm. He's preparing this team to do damage in some way. Now, what does that mean? We'll find out. But there's a lot of unknown commodities here, right? Like, we don't know what Holloway's going to look like. We saw him at Edmonton in a limited role. What could he be in a more elevated role? I'll tell you what, he's a big kid. Standing next to him yesterday, and I was like, this kid's pretty big, man. Like, he's about the same height as me, but the same, girth. And I mean, I'm not a small guy. And I was like, because I thought Holloway was like, what?
Bragger.
No, right. But Anthony, stop. Okay, yeah, I'm tiny. I'm tiny.
You're a big guy, Jamie.
I don't mean it like
You're
that.
A big guy.
Just, I expected a smaller human being, and I'm looking over, and he's a bigger dude, and Broberg's pretty big dude. The Joseph brothers, I was like, okay, this team's got some size here now.
Good.
Talking to Braden Shen. Braden Shen flat out said, listen, man, we're going to be better than what people think. He's like, we're going to be a really good hockey team. He goes, what that means ultimately, I don't know. He's like, we're going to be a really good team. Mm-hmm. And I agree. And just talking to some of the other people, competing in the Central Division is going to be tough. You have some juggernauts. Dallas, Colorado, and Nashville are going to be really tough opponents. But on the flip side of it, in the Pacific Division, there's opportunity to grab a wild card spot. And I think that's what this team is doing. They're playing for the opportunity to grab a wild card spot and kind of shock people a little bit, because I don't think the hockey world has this team ready yet to compete for a playoff spot. And based on what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing, I think this team could turn some heads a little bit. So the next step for Doug Armstrong in this retool is let's see where you're at the midway point. Let's see where you're at trade deadline day. And if your team is right there, I don't think Army's going to be afraid to add. He will have some cap flexibility with the Torrey Krug LTIR money. He will have the ability to add a piece of the puzzle here if necessary. But again, as Army always says, the team will tell me what my next move is by how they play.
Sure.
So I think it's going to be a really competitive training camp. There's going to be a certain intensity to it. And I can tell you that the preseason games are not going to be anything that it's just not going to be a walkthrough. You have too many players that have to make their mark in a limited amount of time in order to make this hockey club. And if they don't, Army's not afraid to waive them. He's already talked about how the beginning of the year, you can slide almost any player through waivers because every team believes that they've picked the best roster at that point. And every team, almost every team, is up against the cap. So you waive a guy that's $1 million, $2 million, whatever it is on your books, odds are teams can't afford him. And it's probably not a player that teams are going to move somebody out of the way to bring him in. So Army's going to be able to slide some guys through waivers, have the right squad that he wants, and he'll still have cap space available if he wants to make a move.
Yeah.
Was there anybody, I know they had the prospect showcase, was there anybody that kind of stood out from that, looks at, that you're looking at and say, okay, this guy's going to push some people come training camp as well?
Yeah, I think you look at Zach Dean and Zach Bolduc. I talked about it with a couple people last week and just said, those two players have to stand out. Like, they have to be the best players on the ice. If they're not, then they're not going to be ready to play in the NHL.
Right.
Because those are all younger players or prospects.
Right.
And they were both two of the best players on the ice, along with Dalibor Dvorsky.
Okay.
I think Dvorsky's farther than people are anticipating right now. See, everybody's on the hype train right now, and I think he's going to be a tremendous player at some point. I don't think he breaks camp with the team.
Gotcha.
I think this is big, massive steps for him. Played fantastic in junior last year, and he will be an impact player here. But when you take into consideration, you have 14 one-way contracts right now for the forwards up front. That's excluding Bolduc and Dean, who obviously showed over the weekend they're going to be competing for spots. Now you add Dvorsky, that's 17 guys competing for 12 spots.
Right.
Why would you have some of your younger guys not get the ice time, the lion's share? I'd rather put Dvorsky in Springfield, along with a couple of guys who will be waived. There will be NHL players that will be waived, clear waivers, and they will go down to Springfield, and there Dalibor Dvorsky will have a chance to play with NHL players that can play with him and work him through that first month or so of the American Hockey League. And if he's doing damage down there, like scoring points, that's when you can bring him up. But I don't think you want to fast play him. There's no reason to just speed him along here.
I want to go back to the point you made about Drew Bannister. It almost gives me the same vibe as what Mike Schilt had brought to the Cardinals when he took over midway through that season once Mike Matheny ended up getting let go. He took that Cardinals team and made it a better team in that back half, and then was Mike Schilt, right, for the Cardinals, made the playoffs, and he had an identity, too. I don't know if we necessarily get that from Ollie Marmol, but it sounds like Drew Bannister is very prepared, and it sounds like this team is going to have an identity, something that I think they've lacked in the past.
You have to have an identity. It's just like any, and I know you're saying the same thing too, Marsh. I agree. It's like a company. What are you doing? Like, what we're selling stuff. Okay, cool. Who are you selling to? What's the game plan? How are you going to market it? Like, you have to have an identity. This is what we do. When times get tough, this is what we fall back on. When times are rolling, let's remember this is what we're doing. I don't know what the identity is of the Cardinals. I don't know how they win games. I don't know how they lose games. It's a variety. It's a mixed bag. So to me, you don't have an identity. With the Blues, I'm interested to see what that identity is. And I don't think you have to have it game one. It'd be nice. Sometimes an identity emerges and you say, look, this is what we do well. This is how we're going to win hockey games. This is how we're going to lose hockey games. But ultimately, you have to have an identity. So we'll see whatever comes about here, what develops.
And also, let's not forget that Drew Bannister went 31-18 as coach for the Blues.
Yeah.
So you can't look at the overall record and say, well, they were 31-18.
Yeah.
That's a playoff team.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, as much as they faltered against some of the teams that they should have beaten.
Still 31-18.
31-18. If you have that much of a discrepancy of being over 500, that puts you in a playoff
They
discussion.
also beat teams they weren't supposed to. So
Correct.
it goes both ways.
Well, and it reminded me, that's why I brought up Mike Schilt, because he had that time in between seasons to know, like, he knew he was the manager and he knew, okay, this is the things that I want to implement. I'm going to focus on the fundamentals, defense.
Yep.
That was the identity of that Cardinals team. And so seeing Drew Bannister have success at the end of the season and now have a full offseason to prepare for that makes me excited about this season.
That's Andrew Marsh. He has what's trending next on 101 ESPN.
If you are currently in the market and looking to save money on your car or your home insurance, please call Allstate and the Bibb Agency. They have some of the most competitive rates. And along with Allstate and the Bibb Agency, you're going to get that personal attention from your agent that most people just don't get with their current insurance company. I was one of those people. Call the 1-800 number, do the whole thing and try to figure out where your policies are, what they are, with a stranger on the phone who doesn't know where they are or who you are. Not with the Bibb Agency. You get that personal customer attention that you deserve, and any questions that you have, they're going to answer it. They're always fighting to get you the best rate, but they're always making sure that you are covered properly. And that's the biggest thing, is being with an agent and a company that cares about you. And all you have to do for that great service is give Tracy Bibb a call for a free non-committal quote. That number is 314-328-4260. Again, that's 314-328-4260. It's no fib. You're in good hands with Tracy Bibb.
It's time to find out what's going on in the sports world with What's Trending Now. Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate a car and get tickets to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Anthony Stalter, Jamie Rivers, and Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Guys, I found this to be interesting. This is from Chris Lowe of ESPN.com. He writes, in what's believed to be the first arrangement of its kind, Tennessee fans for all sports will be charged a 10% talent fee on tickets to help pay athletes as part of the new revenue sharing plan set to begin in 2025. Athletic Director Danny White is telling fans the talent fee and other strategies were, in quote, part of an extensive plan to continue our dominance in college athletics and build something like never seen before. Also, in addition to this 10% increase on all ticket invoices, season tickets and single game purchases, as well as donations for those seats, Tennessee will add an average increase of 4.5% on all football tickets. Do you guys like this idea? What do you guys think?
No, I think it stinks.
Yeah.
I think it's ridiculous. Here's a school that is now going to, for lack of better words, punish their fans to go to because they want more NIL money. They want more donations to their program. Like, sorry, the people that go to your games, for the most part, are not the Fortune 500 company owners that are donating 20, 25 million every year in their name to be recognized and be given a... That's not you're not dealing with the same crowd.
Right.
So if you got somebody down in the state of Tennessee that's been a Tennessee fan for 15, 20 years, but they have to work an extra job so they can afford the season tickets because they love to go watch their Tennessee team. Now you're charging them an extra 10% because you're going to take their measly little money and try to make a big pot of gold for NIL money.
Yeah. You're just gouging people.
I think it's ridiculous. If this is the direction that it's headed in, like I was all for this NIL, and I'm fine with the big companies donating and raising money and doing all these things. I'm not fine with punishing the fans. You buy a ticket, you're being charged 10%.
Sadly, this is where we're going now. Like, if an insurance company is taking a massive loss because of some hail damage, well, premiums are going to go up. Sorry, that's just the way it is. What about all the money I've been dumping in for decades for you? And now you're going to jack my price up?
Yeah, but all the years I never needed you.
Exactly.
Can I get a little kickback?
Right. No, it doesn't work that way now. So Tennessee, hey, remember when, we fans showed up and still paid our ticket prices and stuff like that when your product wasn't very good? Oh, now you want us to spend more? Like, come on. When are people going to stop gouging the consumer?
Never, because they can get away with it.
I knew the answer to that, but yeah,
they can get away with it. I mean, until you stop using that product, i.e. the St. Louis Cardinals.
True.
Well, I think that listen, college campuses it's so easy to get the word out to whatever. I would love that the very first game where they have this applied, if the student body and everybody, massive social media push and nobody shows up to the game. Like 12 people in the stands.
Let's send a message.
There's your 10%.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. I know it won't happen that way, but I think it's ridiculous that now schools are tapping the common folk to pay their student athletes.
I'm with you.
Never did that before when they were brown bagging it.
Nope. And
buying people houses and cars and why didn't they ask us for 10% then, Anthony?
Don't know.
Oh yeah,
they were good then.
Yep.
Guys, this is from Cespedes Barbecue on Twitter. It is a Ioannis Cespedes parody account. I would say pretty popular on the old Twitter sphere. It says White Sox, they have 12 games left. They need 7 wins to avoid having the most losses in MLB's modern era since 1901. The Angels have 13 games left. They need 7 wins to avoid having the most losses in franchise history. These two teams, they play each other 6 times over the next 2 weeks. My question is for you guys. Does the offseason for these big spenders, and we talked about this a lot at the beginning of the season, does that have any correlation to some of these terrible, embarrassing franchises and how bad they've been this year? Or are they separate conversations?
Let me ask you guys a sidebar question. Were the White Sox really predicted to be this bad before the season started?
Couldn't have been.
They were predicted to be bad, but not historically bad. No, I don't think anybody said, boy, this is an historically bad team. Especially when you consider that, they at the time, they still had Dylan Cease when a lot of these projections were coming out. Eventually, they traded him.
Luis Robert.
So no, to answer your question. But in terms of like your question, March, phrase it again with the offseason, you said?
So the big spenders in the offseason, is there any correlation between those teams, buying and trading for all these big time players? Is there any correlation to these terrible teams that are having bad seasons? Or do you mentioned Dylan Cease.
Yeah.
If the Padres weren't gung-ho and let's go for it all the time, it seems like. Maybe they don't trade for Dylan Cease. Maybe the White Sox are a little bit better.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying
maybe they trade him to the Dodgers.
Yeah, exactly. So, is there any correlation, or are they two separate things? Can one team be a big spender and the other team is just a terribly run franchise?
Yes, but I think, Marsh, the reason why you're bringing this up is because we're talking about a historically bad team. And I do think the separation over the years between like the top teams in baseball and the bottom feeders has just grown and grown and grown and grown.
Yeah.
So I think the answer is probably yes on both. There is a correlation, but there's always going to be bad teams. I mean, the Yankees have considered like the Royals their farm system for years. Obviously, the Royals are good now, but our good teams will view the teams that aren't trying as like their farm system in trades and stuff. So that I don't think that ever goes away. But will we see maybe the gap shrink just a little bit in baseball? I don't think so. I think the top teams are going to continue to spend. They're going to continue to fleece teams that are not trying, and then that gap just continues to grow. So
yeah, I think the top team, as long as you can spend money and buy and pay for the best players, why wouldn't you?
Right.
Like if that's what your thing is, if you're capable and willing to do that, it makes sense to do it. If it's going to help you, at least put you in a position to win a championship, which I think that's the mindset for these teams when they are spending X amount of dollars. They feel like they're going to buy their way into a championship. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I wouldn't not go get Shohei Ohtani if I could.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. That was What's Trending. Which NFL teams are in trouble, serious trouble, after week 2? We're not talking about like the Carolina Panthers. We're talking about teams that, are actually good or halfway decent. That's next on 101 ESPN.
When it comes time to sell your home, things can be stressful. The market has certainly been all over the place. Interest rates up, down, all around. Sometimes houses they're selling quickly. Recently, the market has slowed down. This is why you need a reliable, experienced, and trusted agent. And take it from me, get to know St. Louis's real estate expert. That's Gloria Liu with your home sold guaranteed realty. Here's why you should call. Gloria's name is her promise and says it all. Your home sold guaranteed realty. Gloria has mastered the home selling promise by guaranteeing upfront and in writing to sell your home at your agreed upon price and time frame, or she will buy it herself, and she guarantees that in handwriting. Gloria also has a database with thousands of buyers that are going to look at your listing. That creates a lot more traffic, maybe multiple offers, hopefully more money in your pocket when everything is said and done, and ultimately getting you to the closing table. trouble, and that's what Gloria Lou does. So please call Gloria Lou at 314-325-6888. Again, that number is 314-325-6888. You can always visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. As always, Gloria and the seller must agree on the price and possession date.
Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Week 2 officially in the books as the Atlanta Falcons upset the Eagles last night, dramatic fashion. Eagles handed them a victory, basically, but the Falcons took it. You know, sometimes, Jamie, you don't kick the door in, you're allowed in. And then you're an uninvited guest. And then you take what you want. It's called squatting, and the Falcons did that last night at Lincoln Financial Field. Yeah.
You can also do that with vampires. They can't enter your home unless you invite them. Once you invite them, now you're screwed.
There you go.
What?
You like that? You like that?
So the Falcons wouldn't fall into the 0-2 category that we're going to talk about now, but which NFL teams are in trouble after week 2? And I guess you don't have to be 0-2. You don't have to be 0-2.
There are a lot of them.
If you were to say, like, the poster child of this discussion, like the Panthers, we know they're not good. They're not in trouble. They're, in terms of like the season, they're in trouble just overall.
Yeah.
But if there's one team that you want to focus in on that you think is in legit trouble, that is not just an overreaction after the second week, who is it?
It's still early, right? Mm-hmm. And so some of these teams that we're going to talk about could bounce back.
Yes.
But I don't like the way the Bengals are trending.
Yeah.
It feels like they have some dissension in that locker room. Jamar Chase is still kind of flapping his gums around a little bit there, wanting to talk about being paid and all this. Like, he's still talking about all that stuff. Joe Burrow doesn't look like Joe Burrow right now. And although the Ravens are 0-2 as well, I look at the Bengals, I think they're in bigger trouble than the Ravens. So for me, the Cincinnati Bengals are one of the teams.
I'm not as concerned about the Bengals. I think, that was a terrible loss week 1. But I think once T. Higgins gets back and they are able to spread the ball a little bit more, I think they'll be okay. Do we add the Dolphins on here with Tua's injury?
Yeah.
Is that fair to say? Mm-hmm. I would say the Miami Dolphins. What are they going to do at quarterback if Tua is unable to go for an extended period of time? I think they were one of the teams that was expected to be fighting for that division and possibly winning that division. If Tua is unable to play, then you can probably cancel that because, it's just he's a really good quarterback in a really good system that fits him extremely well. And if he's not able to go, I don't know what they do.
Yeah, I agree with both of those. I do want to spend some time talking about the Ravens, though. I don't think that the Ravens are in trouble from the standpoint of the season's on the brink, but that was jarring to watch them lose to the Raiders on Sunday in the manner that they did. I mean, you were up 10 in the fourth quarter. You signed Derrick Henry to be the guy, and you don't really feature anybody. You didn't feature him in the second half. You kind of you're doing what the Ravens typically do, which is just rely on Lamar Jackson to just do his thing. He'll figure it out. And if the Ravens are ever going to get to that next level, they're going to have to create more of an identity outside of, we're just a good team. We're a good team. We're led by Lamar. He is a two-time MVP. I think the Ravens have some serious issues. I don't know why you sign Derrick Henry and then try to run so much shotgun with him. I mean, Carey, you know, not every running back, and I'm not just talking about size and speed, but not every running back can operate in every system.
Right.
Derrick Henry, I think, should be, single back with the quarterback under center or in an offset eye, something where he can get some lead up. I do not think that he is a great back in a read option shotgun system.
Yeah, some backs don't like having, being offset because they want to get running downhill. And some backs are better off when they are in the eye, behind the quarterback with an opportunity to run downhill, shoulder square. You can see everything in front of you. I think the Ravens will figure it out. I would be more concerned with them unable to pass protect and keeping Lamar in his back. And also the defensive backfield. I thought that this team would be sound defensively and better up front, and I think those two things are the concern for me. You gave up a couple of sacks to Max Crosby. I think he had 4 tackles for loss, if I'm not mistaken. That's too
He's
much.
A monster.
That's too much pressure from one player to have all of those things going on in your backfield. That means he's in the backfield all day, and this is not even including the pressures. He's still getting to the quarterback, still getting pressure, and still creating havoc in the backfield, even on plays where he's not making a play.
Right.
That has to change. You cannot allow one player to wreck your entire day. Max Crosby pretty much did that for the Raiders this weekend.
Okay, so take it a step further. Devontae Adams and Brock Bowers are really all the Raiders have. And they had big fourth quarters against the Ravens. And Max Crosby is clearly the best defender for Vegas, too. So you allowed those 3 guys to beat you.
Yeah.
Those 3 guys. You talk about the chalkboard, the guy that you circled.
Yep.
Well, you're circling Devontae Adams, you're circling Max Crosby, and say anybody but these guys this Sunday. And the Ravens allowed him to do it in the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. So I think
now you go ahead.
As much respect I have for John Harbaugh, I think there's a coaching issue right now, and I think that there's kind of this personnel issue. You have the personnel, but are you utilizing them the correct way?
Oh, the team that I'm looking at, we did not think that they would be a playoff team, but they're not bad enough to be the Carolina Panthers. Now, the record looks like that right now. But the Jacksonville Jaguars, we talked about Trevor Lawrence. He just got paid, too.
Yeah.
If he's not going to play like the guy that you paid, you have a serious issue.
Yep.
And I think they have that right now in Jacksonville.
Yeah, there just happened to be a member of the Jacksonville Jaguars team at the golf tournament yesterday. Ooh. Not a player, but somebody who's involved with the organization. We're talking about the way the team's going. This person was not impressed with the way things are going right now. Said that there's trouble in paradise, and as I quote them, said Trevor Lawrence, got paid and whatnot, and he's going to be just fine, but they're not liking a lot of the trends right now within the organization, within the team on the field. So
how could you?
I don't know. That seems like a team to me that it could be bad. It could be a bad season for them.
Sounds like they should move to St. Louis.
I agree.
That would be nice, actually. I'd take it. I'd take it. What about speaking of St. Louis, what about the Rams, boys? 0-2. Puka Nakua's out.
Oh, they're in big time trouble.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp is now hurt.
Kupp is hurt. Yep.
You're losing your dudes. And Matthew, and how long? Matthew Stafford is, if he's not the best quarterback in the NFC, he's one of, easily. But at what point does he get hurt? Because you're going to have to throw the ball a lot. You're going to be trailing a lot.
Well, in that division, we thought that, the Seahawks would be meh, the Cardinals, meh. Right now, the Rams are 0-2, and the Niners had a terrible game this past week, but you got to expect that team will bounce back.
Right.
The Cardinals look pretty good, and the Seahawks are just kind of been steady, so the Rams are really, that's an uphill climb for them.
Yeah.
You did mention the 49ers. I didn't want to bring them up as a team that's in trouble, but it is an interesting conversation because CMC is out and Deebo Samuel's out. We saw what this team did last year, at least Brock Purdy. They lost 3 games when Deebo was out of the lineup.
Yes.
Now, I looked at their schedule. Their schedule's a little favorable. They have the Patriots in there. They have the Seahawks in there. They're taking on the Rams next week, who we just talked about. They're banged up. I think they'll be fine, but it is something to look at. I think this injury, or injuries, maybe it ends up being a thing where the 49ers don't end up being the number 1 team in the NFC and they don't get the bye. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
Because that team's a playoff team for sure.
Yeah, it should be. I mean, look, losing, you can't, to me, you lose Christian McCaffrey, that certainly hurts you. You nailed it. When they lost Deebo Samuel last year, they lost that one element for Kyle Shanahan that really stresses out a defense. I mean, Christian McCaffrey wasn't there, the entire season a couple of years ago. They figured they were a good team then. To me, Deebo Samuel is one of the keys to that offense.
And imagine if Brandon Ayuk is in a different jersey.
Right.
Then what does this offense look like?
You still got weapons. You still got George Kittle. You still have, like Juwan Jennings is a fine third wide receiver. But you're right. Ayuk now, he hasn't looked great the first 2 weeks. The 49ers, I don't think, are in trouble, but there's some concerns.
I think the 49ers are going to be fine. The Dolphins just placed Tua Tagovailoa on IR.
Yeah.
So next
to those guys.
4 weeks,
at least.
he will not be there?
Yep.
Well.
Good luck to those guys.
Yeah. It's not like you can fall. Like, they sign.
Paging Tom Brady.
They'll probably page Tom Brady, yeah.
I saw somebody say that maybe they should go get Smitty off the Buffalo practice squad. Old Smitty, Mike White.
Didn't they just
He was in
sign somebody from the Ravens practice squad?
Yeah, they got Huntley.
Oh, Tyler, yeah.
Yeah.
Tyler Huntley.
So, but I would like to see Smitty back in a Dolphins uniform, starting every Sunday.
If you don't know who Smitty is,
It's my guy, Whitey.
Jamie called Mike White, Mike Smith.
I was thinking of the goalie for Edmonton.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, yeah. So he's been forever known as Smitty. Since then.
There you go. I just looked up and I saw in the Snake Pit that the lineup is out. If that's true, we'll play the lineup game next on 101 ESPN. The Missouri Athletic Club, great spot during the week to get my workout in. A lot of times I use their facilities to get ready for the show as well. Their business center is fantastic, but it's more than just a workout facility and a place to shower and get a nice theme in it. We're talking about a place that hosts speaker series. They've got their various downtown events, whether they're hosting something for the Blues or the Cardinals. They always do it top notch at the Missouri Athletic Club. I love the MAC for certain date nights. They're great to have, the kids take part in a lot of the clubs that they have. It's always fantastic. Missouri Athletic Club, that's my MAC. That sounder means it's time to play the lineup game here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. The Cardinals take on the Pirates for Game 2 of the series after they knocked off the Pirates yesterday 4-0. It'll be Lance Lynn versus Bailey Falter, who is, Jamie, a left-hander.
Oh, boy.
So they got the old southpaw on the hill tonight. So
I don't think anything's going to be different. Here.
I don't either.
Show us. Mason Wynn.
I'm watching the Futures game, and this thing's all over Instagram. It's like, this guy threw a ball 100 across the. That's awesome, but like, how many throwing errors does he have?
Shut up!
Okay, as we know, this has been Alec Burleson.
It has been. Now, every now and then they screw around when there's a lefty on the bump, and they move Burley from second to third.
Right.
So do you think Goldie gets up here in the second? He's been third, right?
Yeah.
And then Arenado?
We've seen Baker here, too.
We have seen big old Luken Baker.
The last time they faced a lefty, they had Luken Baker hitting second.
Maybe Baker's in as the DH tonight and Burley's out.
Yeah. That's the way I would go.
Okay. Show us Luken Baker.
He's an inspirational baker.
Inspirational baker.
Good job, Anthony.
Thank you. Now I think it's Goldie. Show us Paul Goldschmidt.
Gold! Rich with gold! Gold!
Well, there'll be no change here. There'll be no change.
Show us Nolan Arenado.
He's a Gold Glove winner and perennial All-Star.
Oh, listen to Mr. Gold Glove over here.
Come on. All right, so this has been Brendan Donovan at 5. Do we think he is 5 again?
Maybe. But do we think Herrera could be in the lineup with a lefty on the bump?
Batting
Right.
5th?
Yeah.
Has he batted 5th?
Yeah, he's
yet
been up
this
to
year?
5 this year.
He's usually around 6th, isn't he?
Maybe usually he's been here, though.
He has. Yeah, he has been there. Yeah.
I think
He was even in the cleanup spot at one point this season.
early when Anthony
He
wanted
still
him
was
to play
there.
every day.
Who hasn't?
Good question.
Your call.
I believe in you.
Okay. Show us Ivan Herrera.
You're wrong.
You said that with no confidence.
No, you didn't.
Whatsoever. Why would you?
It's funny. After I said I believed in him, his confidence went way down. Yeah.
Why didn't you believe in it? It's your fault that it didn't work because of how you
it's
said
my
it.
fault.
Wow.
How you said it.
My fault.
Because you said it.
Show us Ivan Herrera.
My fault. Now you're blaming your teammates, Carey.
No, I'm saying if we're going
Don't
to,
like
if
that.
Of all the things I've heard about Carey Davis,
well,
Wow.
the reason I was late because I was talking to Rafe. Apparently, he called me a dumbass this morning.
he
so
did.
yeah,
Is he in a glove compartment somewhere now?
I didn't phone him up. But
That's tough because I was called stupid last week.
Wow. Do we have the audio?
We'll have to address some of this.
We gotta pull the audio
have
here.
a conversation.
Did you address it, Carey?
I just laughed. That is how he said they were like, "Who came in last?" He's like, "Oh, Carey, dumbass Davis."
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You mean Rafe Williams of the 0-2 Rizzuto show?
I mean, he said it.
Wow.
Well,
we'll be
Rafe,
recording a
nice
podcast
knowing
with
ya.
them tomorrow, so
Must play for Colorado State.
must be. Yeah.
Yes. All right, go with your guy.
It's
then.
got to be Brendan Donovan, right?
Show us Brendan Donovan.
Donnie.
Hey, this headband's pretty cool.
Hasn't this been Newt?
Yeah, but not against a lefty.
I know.
So
Walker or Herrera?
JC Walker.
JC could be back in, yeah. I think JC's been because Burley's going to be out.
I say JC here.
Okay. I
Okay.
like it.
Carey, you like? No, okay. Show us Thomas JC.
What a shame.
Okay.
I didn't think he would be ahead of Walker. Maybe
Okay.
I'm wrong.
Why don't you go with the walk show?
Show us Jordan Walker.
What's his angle?
Nice.
What angle?
Launch!
Launching now.
Is it
So
JC?
now JC here? Yeah.
Probably.
Show us Thomas JC.
It's like Thomas the Tank Engine always says.
You like baseball?
Okay. So it's got to be old Petey Pages here, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Show us. Petey Pages. And this is going to be,
Super bad.
yeah.
Show us Michael Superbad Ciani.
Michael,
Michael.
You're not Michael Phelps. You're Michael Cera.
You. There you have it. Marsh, why don't you run that thing?
All right, leading off the shortstop, Mason Wynn. Batting second, the DH, Lucan Baker. Batting third, first baseman, Paul Goldschmidt. Your cleanup hitter, third baseman, Arenado. Batting fifth in left field, Brendan Donovan. Batting sixth in right field, Jordan Walker. Batting seventh, second baseman, Thomas Sajaci. Batting eighth, catching, is Pedro Pajes. And batting ninth in center field, Michael Ciani.
Back. They fair! They fair!
Go foul!
I don't believe what I just saw.
Home run.
Are we still tied, Marshy?
I'm up by 3 now.
Oh, you're up by 3. Who did you have?
Thomas Sajaci Friday night.
Oh,
Anthony
that's
tried to
right.
give you
I was
the
congratulating you.
home run.
Remember?
And then Anthony
wasn't
had
here.
some choice words for me.
I did. Yeah.
He does that in our
He does.
group chat.
Yeah, Marsh was like,
Oh, that's right.
Marsh was like, I was the one, actually, guys. This
Yeah.
JC. And then I said, fast lane you, Marsh. Yeah. Okay, so Marsh, go for it.
Give me Give me Alec Burleson off the bench tonight.
All right.
You're trying to put the
He's
knockout
trying.
blow in, huh?
He's trying.
Trying to knock us out? Mm-hmm. That's what you're trying to do?
Okay.
Go for the win.
Like the Philadelphia Eagles should have done, and they did.
Oh, they did go
Didn't
for the
work
win.
out.
Give me Thomas Sajaci.
Should have ran the clock.
I'm going back. I'm going to run it back with Sajaci.
All right.
Give me Jordan Walker hitting the ball.
What's Lucan Baker? Is he a deuce?
He's got to be a 2, I
Yeah.
think.
Give me Lucan Baker.
I don't think anyone's picked him to hit a home run when he wasn't a 10-pointer. I think he
Well,
might be the
guess
first.
what?
Or at least it hasn't hit.
Yeah.
Well, guess what?
Like, he has the power to be a
Doing it
number
tonight.
1 guy, but I don't think
Right.
he,
I don't think it's fair.
I think
right?
it's fair, yeah.
I'm with you, kid. All right, that is your lineup game here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Tonight, the Cardinals take on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Lance Lynn goes tonight, guys.
Hey,
Last time we talked about Lance Lynn, we weren't very kind.
Oh, he's an ace now.
Does he get destroyed tonight?
Yeah.
Like, is this the night?
Sure.
Who knows?
Goes 5 innings. Gives up 2 hits.
Yeah.
5 and a
Strikes
third.
out 6.
about right.
Gives up 1 run.
It says fast lane you to the opponent. He did last
Is
time.
tonight the Matt Adams night, or is that tomorrow night?
Every night's a former Cardinal night, Anthony. Come on now.
What's today? Tuesday?
Yeah.
I think it's Wednesday.
I think you're right.
I think it's Wednesday.
That'll get people to the ballpark.
I'll go.
Are you going?
Yeah.
No. Are you going?
Yeah.
Free tickets again?
Of course.
How do you continue to get all these free tickets?
Just go online.
All you have to do is walk it down there.
Just walk in now. They don't even check. They don't
Go to
have
the
people
ticket.
checking the gates.
You just walk in.
Just come on in. You got a ticket? Nah, it's fine. Go buy a beer though, okay? All right.
See
Welcome to the park.
The video, it's like a video meme or whatever of the guy just kind of like doing
waiting.
the pat down, like very nonchalant.
Not even checking tickets. And that's good.
Yeah.
Okay. You took the time to come down here. Yeah.
Come on, going around
You're
recruiting
fine.
people. You want to go to the game? Come on.
Yeah, you'll be good. Yep. All right. The Cardinals, by the way, have been eliminated from contention in the NL Central. Does not mean they can't still win a wild card spot. But, guys, I don't know if you've checked out the latest wild card standings. Your Cardinals are 7 games back in the wild card. That's going to be tough. As it turns out, you know that run differential that we talked about throughout the course of the season? Well, pretty much played itself out.
Pretty much.
They were minus 63. They're 7 games out. The teams that are in the wild card hunt, I mean, like legitimately in the wild card hunt, Padres have a plus 87. The Diamondbacks have a plus 94. The Mets have a plus 65. And the Braves have a plus 68. Like, those are the Padres, Diamondbacks, and Mets are the teams that are currently in the wild card. How about the Braves? They might miss it. They got hot for a while there, but they got destroyed last night by the Dodgers 9-0. The Sunday night baseball game did not go their way. They had a really good start, I think, from Charlie Morton, but couldn't tack on much against Walker Buehler, and 9th inning got away from them. But as it sits now, the Atlanta Braves at 81-69 are one game back of the New York Mets, who decided not to do the all-in thing.
Too many injuries for the Braves. Just catching up with you. Like, you can only do so much.
Very true.
I think we can all agree that the wild card's coming down to, I think the Padres are a shoe-in. I think the Diamondbacks, the Mets, and the Braves are fighting, 3 teams fighting for the last 2 spots. The Cubs are 5 games back. To me, that's just too big of a gap.
Yep, they're done. That's right. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Let's play Are You Sold next. So if you have an Are You Sold, text in 314-399-9646. Again, 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. If you have an Are You Sold, send it there, and we'll play it next in the Fastlane.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. We just got done doing the lineup game. The Cards defeated the Pirates last night 4-0. Lance Lynn will be on the mound tonight for the Cardinals, taking on Bailey Falter. 6:45 first pitch. The Atlanta Falcons defeated the Philadelphia Eagles 22-21 on Monday Night Football. Anthony's very happy about that. We'll continue pumping Anthony's tires throughout the day before his team decides to start losing again. San Diego will take on Houston tonight. Some Major League Baseball action for you right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 8 o'clock. We have Are You Sold coming up next, so get your text into the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. Are You Sold coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
On 101 ESPN, time to play Are You Sold? So if you have an Are You Sold statement, send it in 314-399-9646. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter. Marsh, go.
Because of what we've seen through 2 weeks in the NFL season, we have received a text that I am going to read that I never thought I would read ever again. Or at all, in general. From FedEx Colton, are you sold that Shaky Bakey or Derek Carr can win NFL MVP?
Oh, wow.
No.
Not MVP, no. I think they could have really good seasons, but no, I can't see them winning MVP.
I can't either. I don't have a clear MVP winner in my head right now.
It's not that.
It's just those guys. What is it, Anthony?
No, I'm just saying you don't have the clear path, but it's not one of those guys.
Oh, yeah, no, it's not. Yeah. I thought you were saying it's not that because it's something else about that.
Oh, no.
No. The Saints are a plus 62 in score differential.
Scored 91 points.
I know.
If we're doing, we'll do the Stalter Stackup at some point. We'll all do our power rankings. If you're just going to go on how the teams have looked through the first 2 weeks, the Saints would be the top team. If you knew nothing else coming into the league, coming into the season, and you just evaluated off the 2 games, the Saints have been the most impressive team in the NFL.
I agree.
But no, I don't think I'm not sold that Derek Carr could be an MVP.
No, I.
From the 618, are you sold that Nolan Arenado can still be a cornerstone piece of this Cardinals team?
Yes, because he will be. Where the hell is he going? He got 3 more years left. What are you going to do?
Will he be a cornerstone piece?
Yeah, sure. He's playing the corner position. Corner infield position. That's not what...
It is. No, you're right. It's a corner infield position.
Corner infield position, cornerstone. 3 more years. I'm sold.
Okay.
That not what you meant?
Nope. Nope. Got to talk about one of the top players, one of the top performers.
Well, your third baseman is one of your top players. Just like your shortstop has to lead off the game. Like them's the rules.
That is the rules.
They're not.
No.
At all.
Jamie said the shortstop has to lead off. That's the rule in Major League Baseball.
No,
your
that
third
was
baseman
just one
has
day
to be one of your
concussion.
I know Jamie said it.
Yeah.
Doesn't make it right.
There's lots of things I say that aren't right.
Right.
He was adamant, though. I appreciate that.
I was excited.
You were.
Let me rephrase this with the Nolan Arenado comment.
Okay.
If he is a cornerstone piece over the next couple of years with the Cardinals, what do you think the state of the Cardinals are?
Oh, man.
Because you could go one of 2 ways here. Like, if he's one of the top guys, great. Yeah, that's awesome. Or it's like, oh, really? He's going to be one of the top guys?
Depends what direction the Cardinals go in.
That's what I mean.
But if they go with a youth movement, then he might be a cornerstone guy.
Yeah.
Just by default.
Does that mean he means one of your best players?
I don't know.
Like, that's what a cornerstone... I tried to just say corner infield, and you guys shot that down.
That's because it's not right.
Okay, well.
Yeah, it's not accurate, what you said there. Yeah.
Some of it is accurate, just not all of it.
Okay. I'm going to say No, he won't be.
I don't
think
he
a
can be.
cornerstone piece. No.
I don't think he can be anymore.
I don't think so either.
Jamie will love this one. From the 217, are you sold? Kyler Murray is a top 10 quarterback, and Jamie was wrong about him.
Wow.
He's not a top 10 quarterback.
Okay. What, you want to do it?
Carey, stop.
Yes.
You want to do it?
Yeah,
Josh
go ahead.
Allen?
Yes.
Yeah, better.
Lamar Jackson?
Better. Aaron
Burrow?
Rodgers, better.
Oh, whoa. Aaron Rodgers?
Joe Burrow, better.
Joe
CJ
Burrow, that's
Stroud,
4.
better.
5.
Trevor Lawrence, better.
No.
Absolutely. Justin
you seen
Herbert,
CJ
better.
Stroud?
Patrick Mahomes, better.
Come on.
Jalen Hurts, better. Dak Prescott, better. Jared Goff, better.
You're taking Dak right now?
Yeah, over Kyler Murray, yeah.
What do you have against
Kyler
Kyler
Murray's
Murray?
won one friggin' game. Let's pump the brakes.
So has Dak.
What did he win last year, Kyler? 4 games.
Kyler was hurt.
Yeah.
He missed the majority of the season. He didn't show up
You'll
till like
never
week
change my
11
mind.
or 12.
Not even on my deathbed would I change my mind.
God.
I would rather die than admit that.
You know what? I believe
I'm
that.
dead serious.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah.
He is probably. Would you take him over Derek Carr?
Yes.
Would you take him over Baker Mayfield?
Yes.
So in the NFL, would you take him over Jared Goff?
No.
Take him over Matthew Stafford?
No.
So he's probably the 4th best, in your opinion, 4th or 5th in the NFC right now, behind Dak,
In the NFC.
Jalen,
Yeah.
Goff, Stafford. See, I would probably take him
Yeah.
over Stafford right now. I don't care about. I'm talking about right now, today.
I think Stafford's a better quarterback than Kyler Murray. I don't think there's.
Stafford is going to be throwing the ball to me and you for the next 4
but that
weeks.
doesn't make him a worse quarterback.
Right.
That
Like
just
let's
means
just
team
drop
sucks.
him. Let's just drop him into the same.
Switching offenses?
Let's just drop him in the same
If you-
category.
If you switched offenses right now, Kyler Murray would be having the success that Stafford is.
Anthony does like that offense.
If you put Kyler Murray in Stafford's offense right now,
You just said Stafford doesn't even have anybody to pass to.
I don't
Well,
think he
we're
would.
talking about if with all things being equal
I
and
think those
everybody being
offenses are
healthy.
too complicated for Murray.
I don't think. I don't think that Murray.
I'm telling you.
I actually don't think Murray would succeed in that offense. I know what you're thinking, like from a play calling standpoint. Great.
I
but
think he would be outstanding.
What is it about him that you like? What has he proven to you? Or
I
anybody?
like a quarterback that can extend plays, that doesn't have to
run
be
around.
on time if need be, because if the people aren't blocking up front, you got to be able to extend plays.
How did that running around work for him 2 seasons
This is the
ago?
reason why people were saying Russell Wilson was going to be a Hall of Famer, because of what Kyler Murray is able to do right now.
Kyler Murray's not even in the same category as Russell Wilson.
Because
Back when Russell Wilson was a young quarterback, not even close. Not.
Kyler Murray, you know what? We'll let the season play out.
Okay.
I don't have to.
But he's athletic. He is. He can run around for hours.
He can make plays with his arm as well.
He's got a good arm.
He has very good arm talent.
He's very athletic. I think he can make some highlight reel plays. I also think that when you put him in he can't see. Like he's going to throw some really bad interceptions because the ball tends to sail
couldn't see
over the middle. Jameis Winston, and
Well,
he's on his, like,
he had
15.
eyes issue. He had eye
Deshaun
issues.
Watson
Deshaun
might
Watson.
have eye
He got
problems.
depth perception
Drew
problems.
Brees, is that who you're thinking
That's
of?
what I'm thinking. You don't have to see over the line. You know
Doug
what you got to
Flutie?
do? See through the windows.
Did you just compare Kyler to Drew
Because
Brees?
they're the same height. They said Drew Brees couldn't
This is
see
where we're
either.
at. This is why the argument is like,
Russell Wilson can't see over the line. You don't have to. Throw him between the windows.
What happened when the athleticism went for Russ?
He stunk.
He stopped cooking.
But that's the point I just made is we were saying Russell Wilson was a Hall of Famer when he could scramble around and extend plays. We were saying that Russell Wilson is on track.
Is twice the quarterback
we
that
were
Kyler
wrong.
Murray is.
Kyler Murray's a lot better than you think.
Yeah.
He is.
All right. I think Kyler Murray is a good quarterback. He's not a top 10 quarterback.
I think he's been out for so long that we forget how good he actually is.
Oh, gosh.
I don't think you've seen one of his bad games lately.
Did you see him
Anthony,
2
he
years
was
ago?
my fantasy football quarterback for 3 seasons. I watched every game that guy played.
That's
in.
different. Fantasy's different. I get choked up talking about this.
I know.
Is it because Neighbors Dave
Yes.
defeated
Yes.
How did
Jamie
that go?
and I.
bury the bodies
Yes.
this week?
Hey, buried them. Buried those bodies, did you, Marsh? Good for you.
Hey, that's just what Neighbors Dave does.
I think
you would know best, Anthony.
He did. Yes. How could you?
Hey, at least everyone in the league thinks that you're in second place.
Are we?
No,
but
it's your picture.
It's your picture.
It's him.
Oh, gosh, that's right. That did throw me off. I'm like, oh, cool, we're winning. We're not.
All right, let's get to Carrot. Carrot says, are you sold that...
CD's a bus driver. He's taking Anthony and Jamie to school. All right. Hey, you know what? When a defensive coordinator when a defensive coordinator makes Kyler Murray play quarterback, come
talk
back
to me.
and talk to Jamie and I.
Yep.
All right.
Let's
There you
just
go.
watch.
All right.
We will. I've watched it.
Sounds like
Watch.
2-on-2 here.
Yeah.
We'll see.
All right.
2v2.
2v2.
What's the parameters then? Like what?
Oh, come on.
What can we do?
No. You guys
What
can
are
be
the
right or we
parameters?
can be right. It's just simple as
but
that.
Are you using fantasy numbers or wins
are we
and
using?
losses, playoff wins?
We're
actually
using the eye
making the
test.
playoffs?
Oh, the
I got
eye
two
test.
eyes.
Well, then it looks like a draw.
Goodness. I got two eyes. Watch him run around for 10 minutes.
You don't like
Because
you
he
don't
can't
like
see anybody.
You don't like players that make plays, Jamie? I'm sorry.
He doesn't make plays.
He does.
He throws as many interceptions and poor plays as anybody else in the.
As Josh Allen, I agree.
What? CD, 2 years ago, he was terrible. Not last year, he was injured. 2 years ago, as a teammate and as a quarterback run, that was awful. It was painful to watch.
Well, we'll see what he does this year.
Fine.
Fast lane, fine.
Yes.
We'll see how he does come October 25th.
Who do they play that day?
The
Well,
Vikings.
that's when Call of Duty Black Ops 6 comes out. So.
He'll be gone for the rest of the
He
season.
might be.
Yeah, he will.
But until then.
Yeah, and they're reintroducing zombies too. So,
Oh, man. He's going to be up all night.
Yeah, he could be. All right, let's get to Carrot. Are you sold that Tennessee is indeed better than Mizzou as their ranking implies?
Oh.
Man, that's tough to say right now. Tennessee hasn't played anybody.
Is it
And
tough to
Mizzou-
say?
Yeah.
It's not. And it's no offense. This is not a knock on Mizzou. Here's the thing. If you are beating teams that you say don't deserve to be in the ring with you or be on the field with you, and you're beating them by 60 and 70 points, you're damn right you're a better team, because that's what you're supposed to do against terrible teams. Like, they're not even supposed to have a chance or a conversation. They were up 66-0 against Kent State. You'll say, well, Kent State is terrible. Exactly. Which is why they won 71-0 or 3 or whatever the score was. Did Kent State score? No. 71-0. That's what you're supposed to do.
Are the Saints better than the Chiefs?
Possibly.
You say it. You say it then. You
Are they
say
better
it.
than the Chiefs?
The Saints right now are better than
The
the
Chiefs could be 0-2.
Say it.
You know it and I know it.
Say
the
it.
Chiefs could and probably
Say it,
should
Carey.
be 0-2.
Carey.
I told you already. I didn't think the Saints, the Chiefs were going to win. We're going to win the Super Bowl this year. I told you that.
Carey.
Say it.
Based on this.
Yes,
There
the
you
Saints
go.
are better than the Chiefs.
Thank
Right
you.
Heard
now.
it here. Kerry Davis predicts the Saints to be better than the Chiefs.
Saints win the Super Bowl.
I mean, they're drumming
Kyler
people,
Murray,
right? They are.
MVP.
They're the number one team in the NFL. You have to say that now.
Yeah, I just did.
There you go.
Better
All right.
than the Chiefs, who should have lost 2 games by a toe and by a phantom pass interference call.
Phantom.
It's Phantom.
Went up over the top.
To go make a play on the football.
He still went through him.
Not my fault. Got to get to the ball. High point.
Alrighty.
It's a great place to eat food.
Yeah, it is. Okay, it's Fast Line on 101 ESPN. Our buddy Greg Amsinger a week ago said that on the opening drive, he talked about one specific team when it comes to when it says the Cardinals, if they are going to rebuild or retool, there's one specific team that they could follow the method for. That's next on 101 ESPN.
$1,500 off, 12-year warranty, and 0% financing. SwissAirSTL.com.
Hey, St. Louis, it's time to fall into savings with Auto Centers Nissan. Auto Centers Nissan, they're hooking you up with the best financing rates and biggest discounts of 2024. How about 0% APR on select new Nissans like the Pathfinder or the Rogue or the Altima? Financing terms as long as 84 months. It's all happening throughout the month of September. And you can find it all at Auto Centers Nissan. Plus, they're throwing in thousands in Nissan bonus cash and dealer discounts. It's their lowest prices of the year. You can give your bank account a break, your wallet a break, with no payments for 3 months on select new and used vehicles. It's all available at Auto Centers Nissan. You heard that right. Again, no payments for 3 months on select new Nissans and used vehicles at Auto Centers Nissan. As always, 30-day new car return promise, complimentary lifetime warranty on new Nissans and eligible used vehicles, complimentary 1-year maintenance on new Nissan purchases. Check them out online at autocentersnissan.com. When you head out to Herculaneum to check out their over 700 vehicles all in one dealership, tell them Stalter sent you. It's Auto Centers Nissan.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Drury Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Drury Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Strap yourself in. You're in the fast lane.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter, our guy Greg Amsinger, who decided to blame Cardinal Nation for all the losing and the fact that the Cardinals fans aren't showing up. Well, he was back at it, the opening drive. This was actually from last week, but he was talking about a team that the Cardinals could model themselves after if they're going to rebuild/retool. Here's Amsinger on the opening drive last week talking about a certain team the Cardinals can model.
We could jump on I-70, go west to Kansas City. They lost over 100 games last year. And obviously they had their centerpiece shortstop But couldn't you make a case that the Cardinals have their centerpiece shortstop for the future as well? Is Mason Wynn as good as Bobby Witt Jr.? That remains to be seen. I think Bobby Witt Jr. is a generational talent and could have been the number one pick in the year he was drafted. It wasn't for Adley Rutschman. Now they'll get a future Hall of Famer on their roster, and Sal Perez has been a mainstay staple. Cardinals are going to have Nolan Arenado at this point coming back. He's a future Hall of Famer on your roster. What the Kansas City Royals did was they tinkered with their roster in very smart ways, and that would get guys that are durable, that are strike throwers. They might not punch everyone out, but they knew what they were going to get. They went out and got Seth Lugo, who recently had his best start of the year in the Bronx against the Yankees, 10 punch-outs, 7 scoreless. He's been incredible. I mean, he is the free agent signing of the offseason. And then you go get Michael Wacha, and that solidified things. The bullpen, they brought in Will Smith, who recruited other free agents to join him, and he's been the worst reliever they had, believe it or not. But they went from over 100 losses, didn't get to 60 wins last year, and here they are grinding in games that felt like playoff atmosphere ball games against the New York Yankees in a series in September. It's been amazing to watch.
Do you guys think that the Cardinals, I mean, it's I understand where Greg's going. It's also easy to say, here's his young team that's playing well, that has kind of a nice mix of veteran players and rookie players, or not rookie players, excuse me, but younger players, right? Farm system players. Easy to just circle them and say, yeah, just copy that model. The Royals are starting off with young guys that they draft, develop, and now are having monster seasons. Like Bobby Witt is a MVP candidate. I don't know if he wins it, but he's an MVP candidate.
Yeah, he's a pretty good player, Anthony.
I would say so. Salvador Perez, behind the plate or as a DH, is a World Series winning veteran player that stayed in Kansas City when he had an opportunity to potentially get out over the years. He stayed. They've made either really smart selections in the drafts, such as Brady Singer, or they acquired guys like Cole Ragans in smart deals, like the one they did last year with Texas. Kansas City, or any team that knows what it's doing, finds resources in when it comes to every opportunity. Draft, international scouting, free agency, and trades. It's the ones that don't miss. It's not about spending, it's about spending right. It's not about developing, it's about developing the right players at the right time to have it all be cohesive. The Royals have done that. I don't know if it's just as easy to say, well, copy that and you'll be good.
So here's where I think Greg's a little bit off the rails on this one. I shouldn't say off the rails, but if the Cardinals were to go into a youth movement next year, then they would be emulating what the Royals did a few years ago. Because you've got some good young players right now. Mm-hmm. You don't know what you have as far as the young pitching is concerned. You've got McGreevy, who had the one great start here. That's all he's gotten so far. Graceffo he was fine when you saw him up here. You don't know what Quinn Matthews is. Based on all the reports, this guy's a can't-miss, like, stud pitcher. Tink Hence is supposed to be a can't-miss, top-of-the-rotation guy. Yeah. That's 4 young pitchers right there that at least it looks bright. Then you got Andre Pallante, who's a young-ish player still for the Cardinals. You still have Sonny Gray. Like, I think the Cardinals are where the Royals started this journey. In fact, that's not even true, because the Royals were terrible. They were terrible for an extended period of time, and they drafted and developed, and they decided we're just going to go with this little youth movement that we have here. Mm-hmm. And we're going to add a couple of veteran pieces to it, which they have, which the Cardinals currently have. So we talk about Nolan Arenado. If he doesn't leave, he's still a veteran piece. If they bring back Goldie, albeit I think that's a mistake to do that, but if they do, it's a veteran piece. Contreras is a veteran piece. The rest of the guys, fill it up with the youth. And 2 years from now, you might have a Royals-esque type team that's unfolding. I'm not going to say they'll be exactly the same, but you might get some of these young players that develop. The Jordan Walker might become, I don't want to say an MVP candidate, but he might become that guy that you want him to be. Mason Wynn could be a Gold Glove shortstop guy, all-star player. Like there's hope for a lot of these young players, but the Cardinals just keep blocking them with veterans that are mediocre.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree. The Cardinals have to figure out which path they're going. Are they going to rinse and repeat and kind of trot the same guys out there, which is what they did this year after losing 91 games in 23? Mm-hmm. Or are they going to say, you know what, something has to change. You know, we feel like, Paul Goldschmidt, you've been a staple for our organization for X number of years. We're happy to have had you, but we got to go in a different direction because we have to, as you said, not block some of these younger players and see what we have. But I think that there's a fear for the Cardinals to do that, in which if you're afraid to make change, you're going to stay the same and you're going to have the same issues that you've had this year. Right. I think trying to bank on guys, this is going to be the year where he breaks out, and I think we can have a better year if Paul Goldschmidt just does what he did in September. If he does that in May and June and July, I think that's foolish to try to do that. So I hope that they go the route of saying, okay, we're going to allow some of these younger players to start to filter their way into the roster and onto the roster and get a chance to figure out if they're good enough to play at this level and start to have some success and gain some experience.
Yeah. It's nice to just say, hey, copy this exact model because it's working.
If it was able to do it, everyone would do it, Anthony.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think every model is specific to that team.
I agree.
You know, because you're not going to be able to emulate every single thing another team does. Mm-hmm. Just the contracts, the term on some of and even the players overall. But I think there's a general concept that you can embrace.
Right.
And the concept that the Royals embraced was go with the youth movement, plug in some of the holes with some good veteran guys, and let's see where this goes.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, Anthony Stalter. It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We have the Gauntlet next. Our guy Stewie's on the line right now, and as he often does, he likes to give us some updates on the Federal Reserve. So, Stewie, what do we got right now?
Well, the Federal Reserve is meeting the next 2 days, and we're going to see whether or not they're going to cut interest rates, how much they're going to cut those interest rates, and that's going to ultimately trickle down to mortgage-related mortgage rates. So this is going to happen the next 2 days. If they come out and they cut the rate 0.5%, and they say they're going to continue to do so as needed, you're going to see interest rates drop a little bit, see where they are today. We're actually offering people interest rates right now based on the fact that they cut it 0.5%. So you can get tomorrow's rate today and be assured that you're safe. If they come back and say, hey, we're going to cut it 0.25%, or they say we're going to cut it 0.5%, but we're not going to cut it that quickly in the future, we're going to wait and see, you'll actually see mortgage rates bounce back up. So take advantage now, lock the rate in now. If rates go down later, 6 months, you know what they can do, guys?
They can always refi.
They can refi it again. There's no closing cost. If you borrow more than $200,000, you're always ahead of the game. Make it now, take it now, and we'll make it better in the future for you forever and ever.
Yeah, take advantage of this right now, and it's really easy. Just give our guy Stewie a call. He'll walk you through the process. It makes it very easy for you to understand, and you feel great about it because you know that you're getting a good deal. Like Stewie just said, if it lowers again in 6 months or 10 months or a year, refinance it. Use the bagel loan. There's so many great things available with Stewie and Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation, and all you have to do is give him a call on his personal cell phone. That number is 314-324-4440.
314-324-4440.
Call, text, day or night, doesn't matter. Stewie's there to help you. But if you can't remember that, Anthony, what can they do?
You can always Google the bagel loan. Thanks, Stewie.
Have a good night, guys.
NMLS number 226715.
categories, one challenger. Can you survive the Gauntlet?
Brought to you by Blue Note Roofing. Roofing, siding, and gutters. Call 314-920-5713 now for a free inspection.
Time for the Gauntlet here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN, where it's 4:02. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler, with Carey Davis and Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marsh, and Anthony Stalter. And let's welcome in Mike. What's up, Mike?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Everything's going great. Appreciate you playing. Is this your first time?
It's my first time, long-time listener, first-time player.
Well, thanks for listening, man. Thanks for playing. Would you like to take on Marsh, Carey, Jamie, or me?
I'll take on Marsh today.
All right. Marsh. We got 2 days in a row for
This
Marsh.
lines up perfectly, Marshy.
Yep.
There we go. All right. So, Mike, go ahead and tell Marsh to spin that wheel, and then we'll
spin that wheel.
We'll find out what category you get.
All right, now, Marshy gets a stepping.
Now get out of here.
Get out of here.
Get out of here. What are you hoping for, Mike?
Oh, I don't care. I'm probably equally bad.
Really?
Oh, wow,
okay. He knows. He understands. He didn't give
knows
the wheel
assignment.
one thing there. Well, Mike, how do you feel about football?
I feel great.
Okay. All right. I like your attitude. Carey's handing out the questions here as he's trying not to absolutely obliterate the pieces of paper as he's
trying my best.
Yeah. Touch of a bricklayer over there.
Jamie. Glad you noticed.
You're welcome. Nice soft hands, though.
Mike, each question is worth 2 points. If you ask for the options, those questions are worth 1 point. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Question 1. This past Sunday, the Seahawks battled the Patriots in New England. When these two teams met in the Super Bowl 49, who was the Super Bowl MVP?
Give me the options.
Tom Brady, Malcolm Butler, Julian Edelman.
Say Edelman. Final answer.
All right, Mike, question 2. The Chargers are 2-0 for the first time since 2012, when their head coach was whom?
Give me the options.
Yeah. Was it Norv Turner, Anthony Lynn, or Mike McCoy?
I'll go with McCoy. Final answer.
Question number 3. The college football conference with the most schools has 18 teams. Which conference is this?
Big 12? No. Big 10. Final answer.
All right, Mike, final question. Mizzou started the season with back-to-back shutouts. It's the first time an FBS team has started with back-to-back shutouts since which Big Ten team shut out Central Michigan, fire up chips, and South Florida in 2019. So we're looking for a Big Ten team that shut out its first 2 opponents in 2019.
Guess Ohio State. Final answer.
All right, we'll bring back Marsh from the Cone of Silence. How you feeling, Mike?
Terrible.
Okay, sorry, man.
It's all right.
We'll see how you do here.
Fun.
You never know. Marsh, sometimes he's great, sometimes he's not so great. He's jogging in, though.
He is.
Wow.
He got a
step a little bit.
Marsh, how was the Cone of Silence?
It was good.
Okay. Your category today, Marsh, is football.
All righty.
Hey, Marsh.
Yep.
Pack a lunch.
Okay.
Marsh, this past Sunday, the Seahawks battled the Patriots in New England. When these two teams met in Super Bowl 49, who was the Super Bowl MVP?
Ooh. Let's think here. I believe it was Tom Brady. Or was it? Oh, my gosh. So I know Julian Edelman, he won the MVP when they defeated the Rams. Tom Brady had to have won the MVP when they defeated the Falcons. I'll just go Tom Brady. Final answer. He's probably a defensive player, though. It's okay.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
All right, question 2. The Chargers are 2-0 for the first time since 2012 when their head coach was whom?
Ooh, 2012, huh? Wasn't Norv Turner. Who was their coach in 2012? Let's use the options.
All right. Was it Norv Turner, Anthony Lynn, or Mike McCoy?
Norv Turner was not there in 2012, was he? Was it Anthony Lynn? I don't want to do... I'm just going to go Norv Turner. I'll go Norv Turner. We'll be safe here. It's probably not him. It's probably Anthony Lynn. But I'll go Norv Turner, final answer.
Question number 3. The college football conference with the most schools has 18 teams. Which conference is this?
18 teams, eh? Well, the Big Ten already had 12, if I'm not mistaken, and they just added a couple more. So I'll go Big Ten, final answer.
Final question. Mizzou started the season with back-to-back shutouts. It's the first time an FBS team has started with back-to-back shutouts since which Big Ten team shut out Central Michigan, fire up chips, and South Florida in 2019.
Oh, jeez. 2019. Who won that season? I don't know. Let's use the options.
Ohio State, Iowa, Wisconsin.
Ohio State, Iowa, Wisconsin. Do you remember this game?
No.
Okay.
He's blackout drunk.
Give me Iowa. Final answer.
All right. Let's go over these. Mike versus Marshy. The college football conference with the most schools has 18 teams. Which conference is this? Mike, you said the Big Ten. Marsh, you said the Big Ten. Correct answer is...
It is the Big Ten.
Neither of you needed the options. We have a 2-2 tie between Mike and Marsh. The Chargers are 2-0 for the first time since 2012 when their head coach was whom? Mike, with the options, you went Mike McCoy. Marsh, with the options, you went with Norv Turner. And you also said it's probably somebody like Anthony Lynn. Correct answer is...
Norv Turner.
Norv Turner is the correct answer. Nice pull, Marsh. So we've got a 3-2 lead. 3-2 lead for Marsh. Mizzou started the season with back-to-back shutouts. It's the first time an FBS team has started with back-to-back shutouts since which Big Ten team shut out Central Michigan and South Florida in 2019. Marsh, with the options, you said Iowa. Mike, without the options, said the Ohio State University. Correct answer is...
Bucky the Badger, Wisconsin.
It was Wisconsin who did so. So it's still 3-2 Marsh. Comes down to this. This past Sunday, the Seahawks battled the Patriots in New England. When these two teams met in Super Bowl 49, who was the Super Bowl MVP? Marsh, you said Tom Brady. No options. If it's Tom Brady, we're going to blow out. Mike took the options and said Julian Edelman. If it's Julian Edelman, we get a walk-off. The other option was Malcolm Butler. If it's Malcolm Butler, Marsh still wins. Carey, who was Super Bowl MVP of Super Bowl 49?
Malcolm Butler had a really good pick that game, right?
He certainly did. Won the game for him.
Pretty important.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It was Tom Brady.
Mike.
You have chosen poorly.
You lose. Not today.
Marsh got you 5-2. 5-2. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all good. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Good job,
Mike.
Mike.
Thanks for listening.
See you, Mike.
I appreciate it, guys. Later.
See ya.
I said it lined up perfect for Marsh.
knew.
Did I not? On the phone. I put the phone down. We put them on hold.
Yeah.
I even said, what a nice guy.
What a nice guy.
I didn't think he'd pick me, though.
What a nice guy.
If you're a nice person, don't pick Marshy.
No. That's how we also find out who's not a nice person. Because when Marsh doesn't win, you realize, wow, that person's not great. Because Marsh only beats nice people. We have your chance right now to score a pair of tickets to see Brooks and Dunn with special guest David Lee Murphy on Friday, April 25th at Enterprise Center. You can text in 314-399-9646 to win free tickets to the show by answering this trivia question. Earlier in the show, Jamie and I were on one side of a battle. Carey and Marsh were on the other. Which quarterback were we arguing about? Jamie and I agreed. Carey and Marsh agreed. Which quarterback were we arguing about? If you know the answer, text in 314-399-9646. You win the free tickets for Brooks and Dunn. Those tickets, by the way, just went on sale. You can find out all the ticket details and a bonus chance to register to win at 101ESPN.com or on the 101 app. As we know, the Cardinals have been officially eliminated from winning the division. Did the just win the division approach cost the Cardinals the National League Central, or does the problem go much deeper than that? That's next on 101 ESPN.
Gentlemen, listen up, because I'm sure some of you right now driving around or listening on your radio that are experiencing fatigue, irritability. Maybe things aren't what they used to be in the bedroom. Maybe you can't get to the gym and your muscles are just not like they used to be. Those are all signs of low testosterone, gentlemen, and it happens to everyone at some point. That's why you have to get in and see our friends over at Mentality, where they're going to talk to you, take a full blood panel, and figure everything out for you and get you going on the right track.
That's right, Jamie. We have been on Mentality, the program, now for quite a while. It's an easy process, too. When you sit down with them, you just tell them how you're feeling. If they realize that after answering the questions, hey, you might be a perfect candidate for us, Mentality will draw your blood, and they'll figure out whether or not you're low on testosterone. Maybe something else is going on. Either way, you'll know. You'll find out. Then, if you are low on testosterone like Jamie and I were, you're going to start the program. Within weeks, all of a sudden, you might find yourself back in the gym. You might feel motivated again. That energy level is through the roof. You're starting to eat good. You're starting to feel good. That's the whole point of all this, right? Stop wasting your money on things that don't work. Head down to Mentality, 2 locations, one in Chesterfield, one in South County. If you want to check them out online, you can. It's lowtusa.com. But when you do head in there, be honest with them. Tell them how you're feeling. They got the right solution for you. Tell them Jamie and Anthony sent you too. It's Mentality. to Fastlane on 101 ESPN with Carey Davis and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. So the Cardinals have been eliminated from National League Central contention. There's only a math. I mean, it felt like they've been eliminated from the division title now for over a month. Over 2 months. But officially, they're done. Do you guys think that the just win the division approach costs the Cardinals the National League Central this year? Or do you think the problems go deeper than that?
Well, it definitely cost them the division, but I think I think it's deeper than that, quite honestly. When you look at the season, there were a lot of people who picked the Cardinals to win the Central. Even national people, local people, even us here in the Fast Lane, I'd pick them to win the Central Division just because I don't want to say there was lack of respect for the Brewers, but kind of, yeah.
Yeah, there was.
Look at their roster, and you looked at the Cardinals roster on paper before knowing that Goldie and Arenado wouldn't have the seasons that they wanted to have. Mm-hmm. And you kind of you're like, okay, Cardinals got this.
Right.
So I think it goes deeper than just not winning the division. This is the second year in a row that they're just they're not even close. Mm-hmm. So it's deeper than that for me.
Yeah, I think I operate from the standpoint of, and I've said this before on air, I operate that the Cardinals should look at themselves. They should always be looking to improve their roster. I don't think you look at what other teams do and say, well, they made a move, we have to make a move. I think fans think that way. We think that way. Brewers make a move or the Cubs make a move. They make, Cubs sign Imaniaga, and we're like, well, you got to do something now. No, you don't. Because that's where I feel like teams getting into a lot of trouble. Does that player fit what you're trying to accomplish? Does that player address a need? Is that player better than what you have currently on your 26-man roster? That, to me, are the questions that you need to answer, not should we counter what the Cubs are doing. I will say this, though. I think the Brewers won the division again this year because they've got a smarter front office. They've got a savvier front office. They know how to build a team within the constraints of their budget, and they do so better than the Cardinals do. That is why I think the Cardinals lost the division again. I don't think it was because they didn't sign somebody. I don't think their roster is constructed as well as the Brewers.
I agree, and I think you talked about the just get in or just win the division approach. That's why we were talking about it. Like, people will always pinpoint the one team that did. Well, look at the Diamondbacks and what they were able to do. That's the exception to the rule. Like, the rule is if you're not good enough, if you don't play enough, if you don't make any additions or do, and I don't think it has to be. They made some additions. It doesn't have to be the big splash additions, but it has to be people that fit into what you want to be or what you view yourself as.
Yeah,
I think the Cardinals did that. I think they went out and got people that they thought would fit well with this team and be what they thought they needed them to be. They didn't count on Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado not having the years that they were accustomed to them having.
Yeah.
Which, again, that's just poor management, in my opinion, because as players get older, their play usually starts to dip. And you have to figure out at what point are we at the point where the play is going to dip to the point where it's not going to be beneficial for us and we should move on. I don't know that they came to that decision. I still don't know if they will come to that decision even after this year. So the just win the division motto, we talked about it. You talked about it. The division was going to be terrible. It kind of was. The rest of the teams were. The Cubs have just lately had a push this last 30 days or so where they're pushing past you. But the Pirates have been meh. The Reds, meh. It is what it is. And here you are, not able to make a push yourselves because you just don't have enough. You didn't have enough gas in the tank.
Right.
Even it's interesting because even at the trade deadline when they got Tommy Pham and he came and hit that grand slam and everyone was like, this is the push we needed. The car ran out of gas shortly after that. Like, yep. it sputtered. It was sputtering. And he put in just enough to get you to the exit, and you just...
You thought you had a few more exits left in you. You didn't.
You didn't. It wasn't already. Yeah. So that's what this team and what this season has been. It's been not enough gas to get you where you needed to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Cardinals are like the Flintstones. They're running with their feet, but they're in what we would deem a car. Right?
Yep.
And it's Stone Age. They're behind on the times.
Yeah. And adding... Just go ahead and adding pieces and addressing needs is not going to fix the actual issue. Mm-hmm. I mean, they've got. I think it's clear that they have a organization-wide problem You're talking about going on to the minors. The developing, the evaluating. Forget the development aspect of it, because developing players are hard. Evaluating players are hard, but it is the job.
Yeah.
And if you look at the Brewers or you look at some of these other teams, they're just doing it better than you are. So whether it's an analytics problem, whether it is a resources problem, whether it is a evaluation problem at the big league level, whatever it is, none of that has to do with signing free agents, which is kind of going back to just win the division. We have just enough. I think that's a horse bleep philosophy, but it goes beyond just the division. It goes trying to actually compete for a pennant.
What's more important in terms of competing? Is it the pitching, or is it the lineup? Is it the hitters, the batters? Or is it the fielding? What's the most important component for this team going into 2025? If you say we're going to compete, we need to add here.
To me, it's always, the answer is always going to be pitching. But if you want to go down the route of offense, I've stated this, and this is going to be the thing that I talk about all offseason. Who is your cleanup hitter?
Wilson Contreras.
Okay, then
could be.
Who is your top five? That's what your offense is going to live and die on most nights.
Who's pitching, Anthony?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think it's pitching one.
No. Who's pitching? Who are we facing? Is it a righty or a lefty?
There you go. It's part of the problem, right? You're right. I'm glad you stated it that way. Because I don't think the Yankees give a crap.
I think Juan Soto and Aaron Judge are going to be batting every time. I don't think crazy.
Not platooning those guys.
They're completely
you got a lefty
healthy
on the bump. You know what, Juan?
And maybe
you sit this one out.
Now, in all fairness, we don't have a Judge or a Soto.
And maybe the Yankees aren't a great example either, because they dealt with they dealt with a bunch of issues too. But the Braves, when the Braves are healthy, does it matter if it's a righty or lefty?
No.
You got to get to that point.
Players.
You got to get to that point.
160 games.
Who's your top five? Those are the most. I realize that there are times where you're going to have the bottom of the order that needs to come through and they fail you. The Cardinals lost a game fairly recently within the last week where their 1 through 4 hitters all had decent nights, but the bottom of the lineup unfortunately came up in key spots and didn't deliver. But overall, when you're talking about an offense, who are those top 5 guys? Do you have a leadoff hitter that's going to set the table? Do you have a 2-hole hitter that's either going to set the table or potentially drive that runner in? Do you have a 3-hole hitter that can keep the line moving? And do you have a cleanup hitter that can touch seats at any given time? Jamie, you have said it. I like Brendan Donovan a lot. I think he's a good player. If you're batting him cleanup, you got issues. Right?
I totally agree. Even if he's in the 5-hole, it's like you should have at least a little more punch right there.
Mason Wynn, great. No issues there. Wilson Contreras, great. No issues there. Alec Burleson's had a really nice year. Can he do it again next year? Who's your cleanup hitter? You don't have one right now.
Nolan Arenado.
A bona fide cleanup hitter. You get a real cleanup hitter, then all of a sudden, you're not as focused on Nolan Arenado or Paul Goldschmidt if they decide to bring him back. All right, we have the Sports Six-Pack next. If you have a question for us, 314-399-9646. Send it there. Six-Pack next.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Andre Pallante, he outdueled Paul Skeens last night for the Cardinals. 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, gave up 0 runs. He walked 0 and struck out 9. So a great performance by Andre Pallante. We'll see if Lance Lynn can do the same tonight as he'll take on Bailey Falter and the Pirates. 6:45 first pitch. Cardinals looking to tack on another win after defeating the Pirates last night by a final score of 4-0. Atlanta, they defeated Philadelphia last night 22-21 on Monday Night Football. We still have to get to our Stalter Stackup later in the show, as well as our Week 2 Pick'em Challenge recap, so stay tuned for that. We also have the Padres and the Astros tonight on 101 ESPN pregame starting at 8 o'clock. But coming up next, we have our Sports Six-Pack, so get your questions into the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. Sports Six-Pack coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is brought to you by Paramount Men's Medical Center. Suffering from ED or PE? Your first treatment is free at ParamountMen'sMedical.com.
Time for the Sports Six-Pack here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Carey Davis and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Here's our guy, Andrew Marsh.
Question number 1.
From the 314, Jamie, what do you think of Sidney Crosby's new contract?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. So, first of all, the last 3 contracts Crosby has had, he's a very superstitious individual.
You don't say.
Yeah, a bit of a weirdo. And all 3 contracts have had an average value of $8.7 million per season. He wears number 87.
Okay.
So 7 years ago, he signed 8 years ago, he signed a 2-year deal worth 8.7 per year. Then it was like 5 or 6 year deal at 8.7. And then he just re-upped again for 8.7. So a little bit weird, for sure. But the thing about what's going on is, and there was I was privy to a conversation with some NHL stars yesterday, not just Blues players, but some NHL stars. They had a little text thread going on. And one of the NHL stars who makes a whole bunch of money was on this text chain with Sidney Crosby and a couple other guys. And he basically said, I did the calculations, and he's like, Sid, you have left $43 million on the table.
I was going to ask that.
Wow.
Like, I was going to ask.
$43 million.
Based on where he is, and because of, players are getting $12 to $14 million a year, and you're only taking 8.7.
And he took 8.7 in his prime, where he could have been making 10 to 12 million a year.
Correct.
So Sidney Crosby has left 43 million on the table. And Marshy, I wish I would have got you audio for this, because there's audio out there. Sidney Crosby was asked about this, and I'm going to paraphrase this, but he basically said the team needs the ability to win hockey games. The team needs the ability to win championships. And he says, for me, it's about the team winning. So taking less for this organization to build a better team so we can win another championship is more important to me.
Well, think about all the guys that have left money out there. Tom Brady, Pat Mahomes, Sidney Crosby. What do all those guys have in common? They're champion and multiple champions.
And they're considered to be the best player.
Yeah.
And they're considered to be the best players of their era.
Yeah.
Makes sense
for them, man. Yeah, they understand.
$43 million.
That's a lot of money.
Sid,
but he's probably.
How much money?
Me $1 million.
How much money are those? Because those guys are so good. How much are they making off endorsements?
That's the next thing I was going to say.
Travis Kelce just got $100 million for a deal from Amazon.
For his podcast. No,
podcast.
Listen, you're right, Marshy, but still, at the end of the day, when you look back and you look at 43 million, that's a big number. Not 7, 8, which is still a huge number, but 43.
But I think it does.
Factor in in taxes and everything, and really, what is it?
Right?
You know?
Yeah, I guess. Well, I think what happens is you might sacrifice it on that end, but if you're winning multiple championships and you're going down as one of the greatest players because you're playing on the greatest teams, your ability to make more money longer you probably end up on the positive side in the long run, because you are that $43 million you would have made or been able to make in hockey for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years of Sidney Crosby's life. He's going to probably cover that.
He'll be
I would
fine.
assume.
No, I agree.
And he's fine without it. I don't want to speak for him. Not my money.
He's a pretty smart guy.
But, yeah.
He's a pretty responsible dude. He's grounded, but it's astonishing to me.
It's a lot of money
to see that kind of dedication, but it also sets the culture for the team. If you've got arguably the best player of this generation or of that era of hockey, because I think now you got Connor McDavid and things like still Sidney Crosby holding his own, by the way, amongst the league's elite. He had a hell of a year last year. Yeah. But if you got a guy like that that's willing to take less money because he says flat out, because this organization needs a chance to build a team around the good players.
He gets it.
Says a lot about him, man.
No doubt.
I do think it's an interesting conversation, because does that make other players around the league or even on, let's say, his team who does want extra money just, for the sake of if their career ends and they don't end up getting paid. We saw that with Brandon Ayuk this summer. We're seeing it right now with Jamar Chase. Like, does that make them selfish for wanting that as a player?
No, it
just makes them different. Just makes them different.
It makes Sidney Crosby and Tom Brady and Mahomes different. Yeah, I agree with that.
But now, Geno Malkin also took a little less. He's only signed for the next 2 years, this year and next year, at 6.1. He's every bit of $8 million.
Yeah.
Easily.
Oh, for sure.
So, I think there's a trend that got set here in Pittsburgh. You look at the back end. Of course, Erik Karlsson was not signed by the Penguins, but he's making $10 million a year. And then Chris Letang signed a pretty reasonable deal at $6.1 million. So I think the core group of players in Pittsburgh are understanding, what the long-term play is here.
Right.
One last push.
Yeah. You got to try it.
Question number 2.
From the 314, based off the first 2 weeks of this NFL season, if you could go back to the draft, I'm assuming the fantasy football draft, what would your top 5 picks be? Would they be different?
Top 5 picks?
Are we sure they're talking about fantasy football?
Fantasy football? Or
Okay, let's do both then.
Okay. Because I just assume that it's the NFL draft.
I just assume fantasy football just because Christian McCaffrey is probably the number one guy that's going, and now he's injured.
Yeah.
But why don't we do both then?
Well, yeah. Makes sense, though.
If it's probably too hard to do.
Which one are we going to do
the
first?
NFL draft, because you don't. Who has done anything other than Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Joel looks good, but it's 2 games.
Yeah, So I would say I think it is the fantasy football.
Okay,
draft.
let's just do the fantasy football then. That's fine. Yeah.
Who
Derek Carr.
Alvin Kamara.
Alvin Kamara would be probably number 1.
Probably those two first off the board.
I wouldn't have taken Christian McCaffrey. Skip on that. Can you imagine saying that? I'm going to skip on McCaffrey.
Right.
I would say J.K. Dobbins. Is in that conversation.
So I would say
Jordan Mason.
If we're doing top 5, Alvin Kamara 1. Devon Achane would have to be considered
2.
Yeah. Saquon maybe 3.
He was up there to begin with.
Well, he's the reason why I lost yesterday in my other league, so I'm not putting him up there.
He did everything he could.
J.K. Dobbins. I mean, you wouldn't really do this, but
what about old SpongeBob SquareHead? Sam Darnold.
Well, I'll tell you the one that's actually racking up a lot of fantasy numbers is Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
He had 4 touchdowns his first game.
Yeah.
And then another, how many do you have against Detroit? 1 or 2? So.
Yeah. And he ran for 1 too.
You're not doing that.
Anthony, you know why I'm laughing.
With Saquon or Baker?
Baker.
Shaky Bakey?
What's up with Baker?
Well, I remember there's the other fantasy football draft that I helped out with.
And that's right.
Baker Mayfield was taken very early, and I said, I don't know if I agree with that. We're going to have to get rid of him.
Did you get rid of him?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, man.
I'm dead serious. The number 1, I'm looking at it right now, the number 1 quarterback right now with 48.5 points is Baker Mayfield.
Is that going to continue, though?
You had a savant on your hands.
You got 2 guys.
And you decided to just punt on that brilliance.
I will say, Baker Mayfield, the transaction was for Minnesota's defense in week 1, which put up 20-plus points. So
that's good. Yeah, that's good.
It worked.
I don't know. Very tough question to answer. Like, are we being realistic or not? If we're being realistic,
I'm taking Alvin
Kamara would probably be
number one.
Saquon Barkley might be 2. I know what he did last night, but he still had a good game. Breece Hall would be up there.
What about Nico Collins?
Nico Collins, I mean, he's the number 1 wide receiver right now. So, yeah, tough question. But I think the number one thing is what Jamie said. You wouldn't take Christian McCaffrey 1. You would say no.
Are they
thanks.
in trouble?
For what? What'd they do?
The 49ers.
Yeah, they are. They are. But I think it's short term.
They're not in trouble. Come on.
I would think they are. You lose Christian McCaffrey.
Vikings.
You lose
Vince Marshall.
In 49ers defense, Brock Purdy is undefeated against all NFC teams except for the Vikings.
Yep.
And the 49ers haven't won a game in Minnesota since, before I was born.
Since the Falcons won a game in Philly.
Until last night.
Right?
It was a work of art.
It certainly was.
That last drive is what you talk about.
Last drive was a work of art. I'll give you that, Jamie. Yeah.
Offensively, anyways.
I thought their defense played pretty well last night.
Not the Eagles.
No, God, no. No, not at all.
Question number 3.
Well, speaking of the Falcons.
Just back up. He'll be fine.
Just take high-risk chances.
Just allow the wide receivers to get out of bounds.
It's that Ed Donatel defense right there.
Yeah, he snuck in, didn't he?
He did.
He snuck in the Lincoln Financials.
Yeah. For the 573, what's the likelihood that the Falcons get 10-plus wins, win the division, and Kirk gets comeback player of the year?
I think that trifecta, or however many that was, is highly unlikely. Tampa and New Orleans are going to battle in that division, period.
Yeah.
Falcons to get 10 wins, that's going to be tough. Maybe they split.
10-7, that's a good record. It's nothing crazy, though.
No. I mean, if
it's
you
not
pick up,
like completely unachievable.
They often split with Carolina, but if they win those 2 games, that's 3. They got the Broncos on the schedule. That could be 4. The Giants could be 5. Commanders could be 6. Let's see here. I don't know. Again, they split with the Saints and Bucks. Not saying they will. That's 8. But they get a tough road to hoe here. Saints and Bucks are the 2 teams to win the division. Or battle for the division. All right, we'll continue our Sports Six Pack next on 101 ESPN.
time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six Pack is brought to you by Paramount Men's Medical Center. Suffering from ED or PE? Your first treatment is free at ParamountMen'sMedical.com.
It's Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter. Let's continue our Sports Six Pack. Marsh, go.
Question number 4.
All right, we get a question from the 314. What are the chances the Cards fill more of their minor league coaching positions? Bring back Chris Carpenter? Question mark, exclamation point.
I don't know if Carp would want to come back and in what capacity, but I will say this. I mentioned it before. I mentioned it yesterday, in fact, with the ownership group. Like, if I'm the ownership group, I'm not necessarily chomping at the bit to sign another mid-tier free agent. Why not allocate those funds to the minor league system or providing more resources for your big league squad so that players feel as though in the offseason they have somewhere to train that is similar to the contenders around Major League Baseball, whether that's the pitching lab or anything like that. To me, that would make more sense. Like, let's allocate our money to things that are going to actually matter as opposed to
No, Anthony, why would they?
Veteran free agents that are going to be mediocre or another bobblehead night.
I was going to say, you spend that money on good bobbleheads. You know how much time and effort is put into creating those and getting people to come out and see them.
It's quite an extensive thing.
They work really hard, and there are a lot of people that put in time and effort to get those bobbleheads to you guys. And for you to say, spend it on coaches to get your team better, it's foolish. Yes, Anthony.
Carey, question for you. What do the bobbleheads have to do with winning baseball games?
Nothing. It gets butts in seats,
right,
though.
got it.
Yeah.
Oh,
does it?
Yes.
Sometimes.
Yeah,
sometimes.
So,
Hawaiian shirt night.
That's a good night, though. So I think you're right, Anthony, but I think that only happens if they decide to go with a youth movement. And the reason I think that is because then they can take the funds that they were going to spend on some mid-tier free agent. Now with cost-controlled players, for the most part, you're going to gain some of that salary back, reallocate it within the organization, and really lean into this youth movement to where you have position-specific coaches. Like the catcher, or the Cardinals have no catching consultant. They don't have one.
They got Yachty.
Like Ollie was no.
They signed him.
I don't even know if they know where Yachty is right now.
Aren't they paying them?
No, but Carey, in all seriousness, they don't. Ollie Marmol asked. Randy Carricker tells a story. He's like, I asked him, who's the catching consultant? He goes, we don't have one. And he went down the line. We don't have one. We don't have one. We don't have one. So that wasn't Ollie just being like.
Yeah.
He's just telling the truth. Like we don't have one. So if you're going to go with this youth movement, you have to then be able to point this youth movement in the right direction and help them. You can't just go with the current status of what you have for coaching because you don't have a bunch of veterans anymore. So dive into or lean into the youth movement, get the proper coaching, the proper development stuff for all these players, and see where you're at in 2-3 years.
Jamie, I'm with you, man. I am. I'm with you with the youth. I know you're pounding the table for the youth movement. I'm right there with you.
Might as well. It just can't get any worse than it is right now.
Right.
In fact, it could get better.
With hope.
Well, one would think.
Yeah, one would think. Not that.
Question number 5.
All right, this next question comes from the mailman.
Hey, mailman.
Thank you for
Carl Malone.
Nah, I don't think he's listening.
I think
him and John might listen to the show together.
Yeah.
John Stockton.
Oh yeah.
I think it's just another mailman who delivers mail.
Well, they used to call him the mailman because he always delivers in the clutch.
Really?
He's always delivering.
I thought it's because he showed up when you weren't home.
Oh,
that's a different mailman.
That's the milkman.
That's the milkman.
I heard about the mailman too. No,
this was a
door
former
to door
player with the Utah Jazz, Carl Malone,
the mailman.
Yeah, the mailman.
All right, Carl Malone asked from the 314, if the Dodgers keep Tommy Edman in center field, will he become an all-star?
An all-star? That's a stretch.
Who are the center field all-stars? I mean, who are the all-stars?
National League.
In the National League.
Let's dive into it here.
I mean, I don't know if he's an all-star. Just say yes.
No.
Listen.
The Braves usually have Ronald Acuna, right?
Yeah.
So that's an all-star.
Here's the thing. We just talked about it. The Cardinals not having significant number of coaches to help you out when players go elsewhere. The reason they have success.
Yeah, I don't know if the Dodgers coaching staff pushes Tommy Edman to being a center fielder all-star.
He pushes
Who the Phillies got in center field?
The Phillies center fielder.
Brandon Marsh.
Brandon Marsh.
Tommy Edman, Brandon Marsh. Kind of the same.
How about this? Tommy Edman in general with the Dodgers. Does he become an all-star? Whether he's playing second base, shortstop, center field, whatever.
I don't think he's ever an all-star.
I
think he's a really good player.
Piece.
I think he's a really good player. I don't think he's an all-star.
Padres center fielder is Jackson Merrill, by the way.
Yeah.
He's pretty damn good. Yep.
Pirates center fielder?
The Pirates center fielder has been still holding.
What's his name?
O'Neal Cruz has started 40. Well, he's had 40 plate appearances there. Michael A. Taylor has done some center field work.
Either way,
whatever.
if the question is Tommy Edman being an all-star, I just don't think he gets there. I think he's a really good piece. I don't think he's an all-star.
Yeah, I agree. Well said.
Question number 5.
We just do question 5?
I don't know.
We don't know.
We pay attention?
Question number 6.
We did. From the 314, if you could have any living athlete call into the fast lane once a week for a segment, who would it be?
Oh, Charles Barkley.
Charles is pretty good.
Charles was actually really good.
Charles is great. I mean, every week it'd be something different. It'd be an adventure that we get to go on, no matter what he decides to talk about. Like, we could say Tiger Woods, we could say Michael Jordan, but are they going to take us on the same trip as Charles?
Probably not.
What about Dan Campbell?
Dan Campbell would be good. I still don't think he'd have as many different avenues
Not
to talk
while he's
about.
coaching.
No.
Like, Charles could talk about basketball. He'll talk about hockey. He'll talk about the hotel, the restaurant, the bus boy. Like, he'll talk about no matter what. You just don't know.
Yeah, he's phenomenal.
And he's very
Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaq would be good.
Shaq would be good, too.
Still, he wouldn't be Charles.
I'm with Jamie on this one. I think it's Charles. I think Charles is the answer.
I think the world is Shaq, too. I do. I've seen a whole bunch of stuff behind the scenes, and Shaq is a lot of fun. Good dude.
Yeah.
I just think Charles brings such personality.
Kyle says, Anthony's answer, Ty Cobb. I get it. Funny.
Maybe not.
Any living person. He's not living.
He said living. Oh.
Yeah. I actually heard you that time. So.
Okay, so what if said person is not around anymore?
Oh, wow.
Is it R.L. Chalk?
Someone.
R.L. Chalk. I don't know. I'm trying to think of who would be like really interesting.
Like John Madden would, but is he like
right?
He'd be funny.
Bill Walton.
Bill Walton. He has been on these airwaves and he has been excellent.
Yep.
I feel like I would like. It doesn't even need to be a reoccurring guest, but I would love to talk with Shoeless Joe Jackson to really know what happened.
He's not going to talk about it. He didn't then. He's not going to do it now.
It's true. He went down with that secret.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. All right. That'll do it for the Sports 6-pack or 5-pack, wherever we were. Jamie didn't have an opportunity to share his Week 2 NFL notes, so we'll get to those next on 101 ESPN.
With over 2 decades of family ownership and operation, my family over at E&B Granite is St. Louis's trusted name in renovations for kitchens, bathrooms, and your outdoor spaces. And everybody knows that the kitchen and the bathroom, if you're looking to remodel your home, that's the two places that you start with. If you're selling your home, well, you certainly want to make sure that the kitchen and the bathroom are up to par, and that does help sell your home. But the outdoor spaces, that's really picking up too. And I know myself, I will be calling my friends over at E&B Granite. Got an outdoor space that I'm looking to renovate and upgrade coming up here in the spring, and they're going to be a big part of it because their team of professional fabricators and their installers are fantastic. And the in-house design staff, that's really what helps, is they give you all the best ideas. They tell you what's trending as far as colors or different types of countertops that are available. It really makes it easy for you when you go to E&B Granite. And you can visit them at 6135 Manchester Avenue, or give them a call. Set up an appointment. Tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in. That number is 314-645-9300. That's 314-645-9300, or visit them at enbgranite.com.
This past night on 101 ESPN with Carey Davis and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Speaking of Jamie Rivers,
hey,
he didn't yesterday have his opportunity to get to his Week 2 game notes, so we wanted to offer you the chance to talk about the NFL Sunday, Jamie, after you spent the day on the links yesterday in the Blues annual golf tournament.
Yeah.
So, what are the three things that you wanted to highlight?
Well, the three things I wrote down, I'm sure you guys have talked about them either yesterday or even we've touched on some of them today, but these are still my game notes from the weekend. And the number one thing for me was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Are these guys for real? Because they walked right into Detroit and took on Dan Campbell's team. Now, Dan Campbell, post-game, admitting that he made some mistakes as a coach, which is starting to become a little bit of a theme, which I don't like.
No.
It's nice to admit when you've made a mistake, but then you need to learn from said mistakes. And at some point, the players will get frustrated with the cavalier style of coaching. As much as they have embraced it, when it comes down to winning or losing a game, and you lose a game because of it or too many, players will start to get a little bit agitated.
Yep.
But we'll see. For now, Dan Campbell has the room, and it looks like those guys are still going to go to battle for him on a weekly basis. But the Buccaneers, man, we talked about this team, and I said it last year to start the year when Baker was there. I said, yeah, you know what? Like, he's not great, but he's got a lot of weapons. That's a good team around him. And then Baker came in and played really well, along with all the players that were so good surrounding him. And all that's done is carry over into this year. And you listen to Baker Mayfield talking post-game just about the way he's playing and the team's playing. This guy sounds like a true leader now. Like, he used to have that swagger to him, a little bit of arrogance, like in the Cleveland days. And, like, you know, he was all about, a little more about the show. Like, hey, look at me. So less look at me right now and more let's look at the team. Good bunch of guys. And, like, the evolution of Baker Mayfield has been really fun to watch. And one day, I can't wait for the 30 for 30 or the Netflix documentary on Baker Mayfield, because there were some bumps in the road, to say the least, and now he's got himself into a pretty good spot in Tampa, and they're 2-0 in the NFC South, and I predicted them to win the division anyways. They're going to have a battle with the Saints, and who knows how the Falcons end up. Win one, lose one, who knows. But yeah, so for me, I was like, are the Bucs for real? Because they big win in week 1 and then a huge win in week 2.
Yeah, I think they are for real. I think that when you look at what Baker Mayfield is doing in that offense with Cohen there, and he's a Sean McVay disciple. He's running that style of offense. His offensive line has looked good, but even when it hasn't, he's been kind of a gritty quarterback. I mean, how many times did the Lions look like they had him dead to rights, and he got the ball out just in time where he picked up, you know, key yardage in that game. The Bucs defense continues to play well. Like, Todd Bowles has always been an excellent defensive coach. And you're seeing that again in Tampa. We were all ready to run him out of Tampa before last year. Like, he's going to be the first guy fired. Yeah. Now it's Dennis Allen, ironically, in the NFC South, and now he looks like he's just more than comfortable too.
Yeah.
So I do think the Bucs are legit. You know, Chris Godwin's there, Mike Evans is there, Rachaad White. They got something now in this Bucky Irving. I mean,
it's a good team.
It is.
So my second game note, Marsh, it's about your Vikings. I think that, I don't know about everybody here in the studio, but for me, I figured they'd be battling the Bears for last place in this division. And I know, Carey, you have the Bears up on a pretty big pedestal.
Oh, yeah. Loves the Bears.
Watched a couple games.
Yeah, well,
I dialed it back a little bit.
Big fan of the Bears. But the Vikings, Sam Darnold, Justin Jefferson, going into the season, like, who's going to get the ball to Justin Jefferson? Because now you got Sam Darnold. Even though we like to give it to Kirky Cousins, Kirky could still drop it in the basket for Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
And now Sam Darnold is coming in there and finally looking like an NFL quarterback.
Right.
And the confidence is starting to rise post-game. He's yelling in the room, and you can hear him faintly say, shouldn't have cut me. Like, he's like, okay. Like, he's kind of feeling it. Is he a little ahead of himself? Maybe a little bit. That's only 2 games. But you can see that they're developing something there with the Vikings and with their head coach, Kevin O'Connell. I think he's an awesome. I think he's an awesome head coach, and he has just continued to be able to put together good teams week after week. They went through how many quarterbacks last year? And they still ended up with a respectable season. Yeah. And now this year, picked to be bottom 2 in the division, maybe even finish last, and they're 2-0 leading the division right now.
Your boy knows what he's doing. I agree.
I would love to see, maybe we can do this tomorrow, later, who knows, but look at the McVay coaching tree, because it's expanded now. I wonder how those teams over like a period of time, how they look compared to some of the other coaches around, like the Belichick tree. I wonder what that
tree
looks
is
like.
awful.
It's terrible.
Whereas the McVay coaching tree, like, it's almost like every single coach is coming from that system.
Yeah, I think that I'd be interested. Yeah. I'd be interested to look at to see like what the Shanahan versus McVay trees look like, because they're very similar.
The Andy Reid tree.
Yeah, Andy Reid tree. There's been some missteps there, but there's also been some hits. It used to be like Mike Holmgren. You look at just whoever's Mike Holmgren's guy, please sign him. Andy Reid, John Gruden.
Yeah, you had a whole bunch of them there for a while.
Yeah. Was Shanahan there way back in the day, Mike Shanahan?
I think McVay was actually there, too, wasn't he?
He was in Washington.
No, that's right, Washington. My bad.
Yeah, McVay. It was McVay, Shanahan, LaFleur. Yeah.
It's a pretty good staff.
Yep.
It is interesting, though, when you really break it down. All these coaches are coming from, 2 or 3 dudes.
Yeah.
But I guess that's how it's always been. I don't know. Is it like that in other sports? I don't really think it is.
I don't think so, no.
It's not really in hockey.
No, not really.
Not in baseball.
No. Yeah, that is. That's interesting how that kind of works out that way.
Probably
but I guess it's
because
a
in
coordinator
football,
situation.
in football, you kind of work your way up from being a position coach to being a coordinator,
right?
And then move on. I don't think that doesn't really happen in other sports.
No.
All right, my third one and last one from this weekend, and we touched on it earlier today, and I'm sure you guys talked about it yesterday, but I watched the Baltimore Ravens, guys. I don't know what the hell I'm looking at right now.
No.
I literally feel like I jumped in the hot tub time machine and headed back a year ago.
Yeah.
I'm watching the same offense. I'm watching the same offensive scheme. I'm watching Lamar scramble around. I'm watching them sparingly use Derrick Henry, let alone when they're up by 10. And you've got this moose, Derrick Henry, who is used to 25 to 30 carries a game. You're up by 10.
Yep.
And you're not giving him the ball on every frigging down where he can drag a few guys for 5 yards, another fight, get first down, run the clock down, run it down. And they just didn't do it. And so I don't know what the hell's going on with the use of Derrick Henry. If they're going to use him like this, why did they even go get him? Because he is almost an every down back, this guy. He wants the ball every time. He's like the Cookie Monster. You just feed him all the time. And they're not doing that. The 2 losses are frustrating for the whole team right now.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry has to be frustrated too. The first game, what did he have, 13 carries or something like that? It was next to nothing. This one here was 18, 19 carries?
Yeah.
That's just not what he's used to. So I think that the squeaky wheel is going to start to make a little bit of noise here. Hopefully it does, because the Ravens need to use him more. But I just didn't like the way they used him. Again, the offense, I go back to it. I've got it written down. It looks just eerily like last season. And Lamar, is he looking a little bit more human? I know he's an MVP type guy, but with him scrambling around and not using Derrick Henry and not giving him an opportunity to find guys available or to even run an offense that he should be running, I worry about this Ravens team. And for me, it all falls back on Harbaugh. He's the head coach. I know he's got an offensive coordinator and he's got to delegate responsibility. But at some point, the head coach is allowed to walk into the offensive room or the film room and have an opinion, or the offensive coordinator's office and have an opinion on how he thinks this team should be running their game. And I don't know if he's been doing that. So those are my notes from this past week.
Well, John, I thought that was great, Jamie. I do think that John Harbaugh said it accurately when he talked about we're not featuring anybody right now. We're not featuring anybody.
Yeah.
It's just it's an offense. We've got guys. Okay, well, who are you featuring?
How do you get him the ball?
Right, and I don't necessarily think the answer is just give the ball to Derrick Henry 24/7. I know you're not suggesting that either, Jamie, but I think it's in the manner of how you're doing it.
Up 10 points, I am.
Absolutely. But when you look at it, if you have this guy and you know that he needs to be directly behind the quarterback needs to be under center, then utilize him that way. So Derrick Henry, he'll be fine in no matter what. No, he's not the same back when you've got him in this zone read system. I don't understand it.
Run downhill.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I put Lamar under center, too, because what's going to happen is that when you start running the ball like that, it's going to open up play action.
Yeah.
So you can have Lamar in play action as opposed to always having him in shotgun.
Yeah. I agree.
Shotgun runs are easier. It's easier to run the quarterback out of shotgun.
Sure.
If you are running the quarterback out of under center, his back is to the defense. Now, that helps with the play action passes and the boots and all of that, but it makes it harder for him to run the ball like they want him to. So it's kind of just defining what you are and who you are, what you want to be. You want Derrick Henry to be, the guy that he is, get the bulk of the carries, you're going to have to probably get under center and go about it that way.
Yeah.
So we'll see what they do.
Speaking of running downhill, have you guys ever seen the event where all the people run downhill and they chase the giant
cheese wheel
of cheese?
Yeah.
No.
You've never seen that?
Never seen that?
Oh, man, it's hilarious.
Oh,
Seems great.
Goodness. It's great.
Hey,
It's a big,
look like they're
huge
gonna
cheese wheel, and
break
they
a
roll it down,
femur.
and they got
Yeah.
to try and catch the cheese wheel.
That seems.
But it's rough terrain and straight downhill.
That seems like fun.
Yeah, a lot
to
of
watch.
broken legs and things like that.
They look like Chris Farley
I believe.
rolling down the hill.
What the hell was that all about? All right, that's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Carey's got to face his punishment. And we'll get to the Stalter stack up, kind of the power rankings for everybody here in the Fastlane for the NFL. It's next on 101 ESPN.
Complete customer satisfaction has always been the number one priority at Johnny Londoff Chevrolet. Johnny always talks about the price being great. The price brings people in. That's true. But great service keeps them coming back for life. And that is the truth when it comes to myself. I've been a customer for over 25 years. Wouldn't think of going anywhere else. And now my kids and my girlfriend are Londoff customers as well, and we couldn't be happier. And the deals that they have at Londoff Chevrolet are just fantastic. Let's say you're looking for a pickup truck. I've got this exact truck, the 1500 2024 Chevy Silverado Custom Trail Boss. Suggested retail price, $67,030. Londoff price, $54,030. That's a savings of $13,000. And so many other vehicles available. They've got great brand new inventory, great pre-owned inventory. And as far as your trade-in is concerned, Johnny wants your trade-in, and he will pay top dollar for your vehicle, and that is guaranteed. So please visit either location, the original in Florissant, Missouri, or the brand new Londoff Autoplex located out in St. Peters. Great inventory, pre-owned and brand new, and great customer service, and that's really what matters. So get in there. Tell them Jamie Rivers sent you. If you can't get there in person, get there online. It's easy. Go to Londoff.com or LondoffAutoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Johnny Londoff Chevrolet.
on 101 ESPN.
Refreshed by Bud Light.
Well, you sure know how to pick them.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We won our second week for the Fast Lane and Rizzuto Show Pick'em Challenge. Yes. All refreshed by Bud Light. Nice job. Nice job, gents.
Way to go, Fast Lane.
But we do have a weekly punishment.
Ooh.
And the weekly punishment is you have to take one shot
Feel bad for that guy.
per week that you lose. And you have to take it via the airsoft gun. And Carey Davis. Carey Davis will be punished today.
Don't think you should clap for that.
No,
we just do it. That's our thing.
Trying to pump you up, buddy.
I don't need pumping. I don't need to be bumped up. Nah, not to get shot.
Listen, Carey, you're going to be great, man.
All right.
You're going to be great. But yeah, we're up 2-0. So, this is always easier when we win.
It is.
Is it?
It's much worse when we lose. Yeah, you lose in weeks, and you're getting shot in the rear
Carey.
end.
I'm ready.
Tough teammate today, Carey.
No,
I don't know.
I'm ready.
Couple
We
times
won.
you tried to
I got
sewer
excited.
your teammates.
I got excited. We won.
Yeah, What's going on? I don't know. Marshy's pointing that thing all over the place.
He often does.
He sure does. Firing all over the place.
What are we doing here?
Ready? All right. Marsh, do you have to control the cameras, or what do you want to do?
I think we're good.
Where am I going?
Right there, Carey, and then just
Do
bend
I
over.
get the honors since I was hit last week?
Just bend
Sure,
over.
you can do
I'm
that.
trying to see where it's coming from.
Touch your toes, Carey.
Jamie, which side is it coming from?
He's going to come over from over here, probably.
Yeah,
right,
Marsh,
Marshy?
come on over. Just got to make sure that the camera is okay.
I'll get
here.
out of the way. I would suggest bending over. Yeah.
Jamie, can you
want me to help him?
Move Carey's mic.
Yeah.
Mic or my camera?
People want to make sure that we see
Can you
Carey
bag up just a
taking the
little bit there,
punishment.
pal? Buddy, old pal.
buddy, old pal.
All right.
I mean, I don't know if Carey. I don't know if you want to be standing at that angle. There we go.
There we go. All right.
Do we need a countdown?
Let's do it.
All right. Go ahead, Marsh. No. Carey, this hurts us more than it hurts you. No.
Misfire.
Oh, mind games.
Wow.
Mind games.
There we go. Losing week 2.
Nope, not again.
Wow.
1 second.
2 times if it doesn't work.
No, Carey, unfortunately, that's not how it works.
Marshy, did you not prep that properly? buddy?
No, I
usually
did.
our
We
go-to
this
guy
thing
on
gives
this.
us fits sometimes.
By the way, since we've got time, Jamie.
Yeah.
Join 101 ESPN for Blues and Brews. This Friday evening at the Anheuser-Busch Brewery, you can get fired up for the blues season at this outdoor street party. It's featuring live music from country music star Matt Stell and from the Charles Glenn Band, plus appearances by Braden Shen, Jake Neighbors, Pavel Bushnevich, Drew Bannister, and other blues players. Marsh, go ahead.
No, I look fine, Carey. You're good.
I don't know why, but the last 2 weeks now, that sound has hurt.
That's smoke.
Tickets are on sale right now. Blues and Brews, refreshed by Bud Light and 101 ESPN. Find all the details now at 101ESPN.com. We hope to see you there this Friday.
Jeez.
Ouch. Carey, you all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
I wasn't ready.
I was kind of planning on doing it while you were mid-read, just because he didn't expect it.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it at any point.
Did it sting the nostrils?
Yeah, this is like a little.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little fire.
Yeah. All right, you're good now. So Marsh has got 1, Carey's got 1.
Where it's inevitable.
Hopefully
we'll be soon.
BK next week, you know? And then Jamie would just start that train over again.
Yeah, of course.
Carey, BK, Marsh, Carey. But yeah, we'll be all right.
I'm not even commenting on it. The football gods hear everything.
Yeah, they do. All right, time for the Stalter Stackup, which we have turned into like a show power rankings. So Marsh, without further ado, let's get to it.
Where are we starting?
Dealer's choice.
Okay. Number 1.
Wow. I've got the Kansas City Chiefs. They escaped thanks to the PI. I won't even call it thanks to the refs. It was just the pass interference call. Cincinnati did not play perfectly, and when you don't play perfectly against the champs, you fall.
I agree.
So the Kansas City Chiefs, 2-0, start the year. Likely to be 3-0. No way they lose to the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday night. No way. There's no chance. No way in hell.
Okay.
So they'll be 3-0. And the Kansas City Chiefs right now, number 1 team.
All in agreement?
Say aye.
All say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Number 2.
I think we will get some disagreement here.
Yeah.
I thought about keeping the 49ers there, but I think the 49ers got some issues right now. I'm sure they'll move back up, but no Christian McCaffrey, no Deebo Samuel. Things don't look great right now for Tanisha from the Snake Pits 49ers. So I've got the Houston Texans. Was that a perfect game on Sunday? Nope, it wasn't. Defensively, they look pretty good. C.J. Stroud and offense, not great against the Bears, but they are 2-0. I'm not going to reward the 49ers for losing in Minnesota. I got the Texans at number 2. Based on your guys' reactions, you don't agree.
Nah.
Who do you got here, Jamie?
So I have to be completely honest. If we're doing power rankings, it's in the now. It's not like 10 weeks from now. The New Orleans Saints.
Got the Saints,
They've
too.
absolutely beaten the wheels off of both opponents.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got the Saints at 2.
This is why I get all my football information from Jamie, because he knows football.
Why don't you have the Saints 1?
I have them number 2. I got the Chiefs number 1. All right. I got the Saints number 2.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that was me. You didn't see me over here? I was reaching. That's what you're doing. Putting your Texans at number 2.
I have the Houston Texans at number 2.
Thank you, Marsh. Absolutely.
Yeah. Marshy reaching.
Okay.
Seriously.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, they were already up there, and they haven't lost yet.
Nope.
So, and honestly, I guess they played the Colts.
It's
a big jump to have the Saints to get to
Style
2.
points matter.
I didn't even have them in the top 5 last week. I can't just put them to 2.
I agree.
All right.
Number 3.
Number 3, the Buffalo Bills. Complete domination in Miami on Thursday night when a lot of us had the Dolphins. This Bills team, they lose Stephon Diggs, and yet everybody, what did Josh Allen say? Everybody's feeding? Everybody's feeding on this offense. They're not having to cater to one player. I think the Bills look good. Defensively, they look strong. Before Tua got injured, Buffalo's defense looked great in Miami. So I got the Bills here.
I've got the Texans here. This is where I've got them at number 3.
Number 3, okay.
For me, I got the Bills here as well.
Wow.
I do. You're eligible of moving up if you perform well enough, and they have done their job up until this point.
I don't know why that surprises me. Since you've hated Josh Allen.
I don't hate Josh Allen. I just
Well,
don't like
you
when he
have
turns the
many
ball
nice
over.
things to say about
Did he
it.
turn the ball over Thursday night?
Nope.
They won. They look good.
All right.
That's how
Marsh?
that works.
I also have the Buffalo Bills.
Okay.
Number 4.
So this is where I've dropped the 49ers. I didn't want to go too far with them. I still think they're the team to beat in the NFC. But again, they've got some major issues here, namely the injuries. I think they'll be fine overall, but I wouldn't be shocked if they went through a bit of a swoon like they had a year ago. So I got the 49ers at 4. I wouldn't drop them any further.
I've still got the Lions here at 4. I know they dropped one to the Bucks, but I hate to blame the coach, but I'm going to blame the coach. I think that team played good enough to win. I think Dan Campbell made some decisions that he'd like back. He said it after the game. So I still have the Lions here in the top 4.
I got a question. What did the Lions lost a game? 49ers lost a game?
Yeah.
Okay, I got the Bucks here. They're undefeated.
Attaboy, Carey.
I like teams that win.
Yeah, you do.
Yes.
We all do.
1-1, yeah.
That's why I rooted for the
Win,
Falcons
lose
last
one.
night.
Yeah, like teams that win. That's not why you didn't root for them.
I also have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at number 4.
Holy smokes.
I like
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
Gotta like it.
5.
I have Jamie Rivers, Detroit Lions here at number 5. I still think they're a damn fine team. Not a great performance. Maybe they had a little bit of a hangover from the previous week against the Bucs. Jared Goff, I thought, left a lot to be desired in the fourth quarter. Baker Mayfield outplayed him, but I still got the Lions here at 5.
I've got the Bucks at 5. I'm just opposite of you guys. I think the Bucks have climbed up here. I had them at 10 last week. Obviously, a huge win over the Lions, and they look pretty good. So they're at 5 for me.
All right.
I have the Los Angeles Chargers, another undefeated team, here at 5. Again, you're putting together rankings. You have to go, and now I know that look. I saw it because you're confused about Justin Herbert and Josh Allen being so high in my rankings. Justin Herbert isn't forced to throw the ball 45 times. You know what they're going to do? Turn around and hand it off. And that is the magic of Jim Harbaugh and the Los Angeles Chargers.
Okay.
Number 5, I have the Derek Carr New Orleans Saints.
Ooh. Okay.
All right.
Number 6.
This is where I have the New Orleans Saints. Probably have them up a little higher here in a week or two, but they have looked like the most dominant team thus far. I've given Derek Carr his due. I'm just not ready to call them a top 5 team quite yet. They're that team where I'm like, I knew it! At some point when they rip off the old Scooby-Doo mask. Mm-hmm. You're like, I knew it was you.
Mr. Old Man Jenkins.
Old Man Jenkins had that farm. He had the farm thing going on where he was, doing his. What? Yeah. Old Man Jenkins doing a lot of things. That's the Saints.
All right.
They look good. They look really good.
I've got the 49ers here. They've dropped quite a bit for me based on injuries and the way they looked in that game. I still think they're going to win that division. I think they're going to be a powerhouse in the conference, but right now they drop for me.
Right.
I got the 49ers here as well. Anthony, I'm a little disappointed you got the Saints so low.
Thank you.
You said, and I quote, Saints have been the most impressive team in the NFL.
I actually call them the most dominant team.
No, you said that earlier. You said dominant now. You said most. I wrote it down when you said it because I was intrigued.
Right.
He's
most impressive team in the NFL. Got him number 6.
Hey.
No, you did. Good job.
No, he did.
Carey.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, he doesn't understand.
Yeah, what's going on here?
Carey, who's their quarterback?
The Derek Carr.
And don't we normally do this with old D Carr?
Well,
where he looks
this
good.
is power rankings.
This is
week
different.
by week.
This is a different Derek Carr.
Yeah,
Have you seen this
6.
guy play?
You want the Lions back? I'll put the Lions at 6. I'll put the Saints 5.
What you do with the Lions?
This is my stack up.
To me
That's
you're
your
just
stack
guessing.
up.
Oh, I got the 49ers here if I didn't say that. I would agree with you, Jamie.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Surprised you didn't have the Seahawks here. Well, they went undefeated, so,
Just wait.
Number 6. Give me the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, Marshy.
Goodness gracious.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Number 7, thank you.
I got Jamie Rivers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 2 impressive wins thus far, 1 against Washington. But look, you go into Detroit and you do what you did. Like I said, Baker Mayfield, a lot of grit there, performing that way. Bucs look good.
I've got the Bills here at 7. I just, they're doing okay, but I don't know. That's where I've got them for now.
All right.
I have the Lions here. Again, 1 loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Got them here.
All right.
That Rams win not looking that impressive anymore. I don't know.
I agree. Number 7 for me is the San Francisco 49ers.
Okay.
Number 8.
We'll speed this up a little bit. This is where I have Marsh's Minnesota Vikings. They have been highly impressive thus far. So
me too.
Got them.
Vikings, number 8.
All right.
Arizona Cardinals. Right here.
Kyler Murray's agent back in the house, guys.
Yep, that's right.
We'll see how you feel in a couple weeks, Carey.
Let's see how I feel.
Number 8, I have the Detroit Lions.
All right.
Number 9.
Number 9, you got the Philadelphia Eagles. Despite what they did last night, they should be 2-0. As much as I hate to say that, they should be 2-0.
Yeah, they're not. But I also have them here at number 9.
Guess what? I got the Eagles here at 9 as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I have the LA Chargers at number 9.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Carey had them at 3, I think.
Yeah.
Well, they're in there.
I had them at 5.
Making things up, Anthony.
It's pretty close, though.
Number 10.
Pretty impressive with what Green Bay was able to do, even with the backup quarterback there, Malik Willis. I'm anticipating that Jordan Love is going to be back fairly soon, and if so, I got the Packers staying in that top 10.
Boys, it's all about the D, and that's why I've got the Steelers here at number 10.
Wow.
I've got the Steelers at number 10.
Holy smokes,
They have been
okay.
impressive defensively, and that's where I'll leave it.
All right.
I didn't go Steelers because I know 10 is a deadly position. I got the Vikings here.
Wow, Marshy.
Sorry.
What the hell?
Holy smokes.
Just didn't want to put them in there yet.
I did not see that coming.
I got
with
the
that.
Vikings.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, Marsh.
I mean, I thought we were on the same page. I have Arizona as number 10, but he wants to put the Vikings
No, he wants to put
at 10?
the Vikings there to curse them.
What the hell? I'll put the Steelers there then.
Steelers, no, number 10, the Steelers.
That was, I can't believe you did that, quite frankly.
I'm sticking with Arizona.
All right.
Arizona, number 10, good quarterback. He's going to prove at least 2 of you wrong.
Okay, fair. All right, that will do it for the Stalter / Fastlane Stackup here on 101 ESPN. We've got Beat the Streak next.
Hey, it's Carey, and I want to talk to you about my friends over at Scrap Mart Metals. They are tailor-made for your business if you have recycling needs, and they can help you get it going. They understand that job site cleanup for contractors can be a mess. If you set up a business account with Scrap Mart to recycle that metal, it'll be one less thing you have to do during cleanup. You'd be amazed at how the scrap metals add up and how it can truly help your business's cash flow. But you don't have to be a contractor. You don't have to own a business. If you have things in your home that you need to get rid of, you need to recycle, well, Scrap Mart can come and help you in that regard. If you have heavy equipment, you know how frustrating it is. Time and time again, you have to repair it. Eventually, you'll have to get rid of it, and Scrap Mart will come and get it out of your way. They'll haul your equipment to one of their locations and get you a check the same day. Or if you want to haul it away yourself, they have 3 convenient locations: Valley Park, Peevely, Jonesburg. If it's metal, they will buy it. It is recycling made easy. Copper wire, brass, stainless steel, aluminum, batteries, electric motors, steel, cast iron, and so much more. If you need to get to them, they have the highest payout, and you will always get top dollar for your scrap metal. So reach out to them at scrapmartmetals.com. That's scrapmartmetals.com, and tell them Carey sent you.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals looking to get back in the win column or continue their winning ways after defeating the Pirates last night 4-0. Lance Lynn on the mound tonight, going up against Bailey Falter. First pitch is at 6:45. Tonight, we'll have the Padres taking on the Houston Astros. Some Major League Baseball action for you right here on 101 ESPN. That game, the pregame starts at 8 o'clock, so tune in to that. If you missed anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to the podcast page. You'll find all of our full shows there. And it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We have Beat the Streak and Biggest Question of the Day coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
to hit baseballs.
All of my successes depend on me.
You're ready to hit.
The hits just keep on coming.
And his first big league hit is a bullet up the middle.
All right, time to play Beat the Streak here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marshall, Anthony Stalter. We welcome in AJ. What's up, AJ?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Doing pretty good today.
Doing good, man. Thank you for playing. All right, and two, should have went with Keener falafel bag last night, like I wanted to, but I overthought it because I'm like, I don't want to go that route. I don't want to be that guy. Hit 2 hits. I went Brian Reynolds, bigger name, right? O for Gopher.
What's it?
So go ahead, Jamie, and mock me all you want. But when Nikki G gets it done tonight for me, you're going to be crying a different tune.
You like that? Oh, like that? Now he's channeling Kirk Cousins. He's so in love with him, he's channeling it.
Did you not see?
He's in love with Kirk now.
Did you not see that drive?
It's kind of sad and sick to see because he was. If we could share these messages. From the time the game started until...
You could. I prefer you don't.
1 minute left.
No kidding.
Where are those red glasses? I feel like those could work for the Falcons, too. They have red in there.
There you go. That's no problem. I got them right here, Marsh.
I got a new pair of glasses.
It's, my good buddy, Carey Davis, would always say it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Now, was Kirky ball game on his game last night? No, I saw one pass. He sailed right into the third row of Lincoln Financial Stadium last night, and he had 2 guys open in the end zone.
I don't think this is how the glasses work.
But when it comes to Kirky football, game's on the line. Well, now he's dropping dimes. 10-yard out after Drake London completely left Slay and his jockstrap on the field for game-winning touchdown.
Jobu's jockstrap?
That's what you pay Kirk Cousins for right there.
Yeah.
All you need is a defense to not play defense. Then you're going to get the best.
Hey, either way, we've not played defense before, and we've lost a lot of games. But last night, not tonight. Last night. Kirk looked good, boys, on that drive.
Yep.
Okay.
Go Dirty Birds.
Dirty Birds.
Yeah.
Biggest question of the day?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
It's time for the Fast Lane's biggest question of the day.
You wanted to say something else at the end?
No.
No?
He thinks you're going to ask about Kirk Cousins.
What's the biggest question of the day?
It has nothing to do with Kirk Cousins.
Okay.
I can make it about Kirk Cousins.
No. I just didn't know. I didn't know if I should put the because if I put the glasses back on, you want me to talk about Kirky football all day, I will. It's no problem. I'll talk about that final drive and the way he just absolutely sliced and diced Vic Fangio's defense. But if you want to go to something else, I'm good with that too.
I think I'm going to go to something else.
All right. I don't know if I can handle Kirk Cousins.
It does include
you love him.
A superstar, which Kirk
clearly
is not. Anyways, so we had a segment earlier with the audio of Greg Amsinger talking about the Kansas City Royals, and he brought up Bobby Witt Jr., who is a bona fide superstar, and then he mentioned Mason Wynn as well. The question for you guys is, does your superstar need to have pop?
Ooh.
No.
I don't know about that.
No.
I think it helps.
But Mason
It
Wynn
helps.
currently has, 13 home runs? Maybe more. He might have 16.
Definitely double digits.
Yeah,
I think it's 13.
I think it might be more. No, you're right. It's 13.
The way I'm thinking, like Derek Jeter. Now he was a Yankee, but Derek Jeter didn't have great pop, but he had that it factor, and I think Mason Wynn has that it factor.
I'd consider Ozzie Smith to be a pretty good shortstop.
Yeah, absolutely.
He had hardly any pop.
So talking about superstar, I think it's more of a, are you a popular player? Do you have some personality? Something that's a personality that people are going to want to learn more about you. Do you obviously if you play great? Yeah, that's qualification number one.
Now, would you like your superstar to have pop?
Oh, yes.
I think that'd be nice. Certainly.
It doesn't hurt.
You know
does
what?
not
Marshy,
hurt.
I don't care who has pop on this team. Just somebody. Anybody. Maybe a couple people would be nice.
It'd be nice,
Like
yeah.
25, 30 home runs. Guys.
Okay.
It is concerning that this Cardinals team, Paul Goldschmidt's tied for the lead for home runs, and Nolan Arenado's fourth, and they're having bad seasons.
Yeah.
That means nobody else is hitting the Ding Dong Johnsons, which tells you the story right there.
All you need to know. That's
Got to
right.
bring them back.
Yep. Oh boy. Yep. There it is, Marsha. Well, you ruined it. It's a fast lane on 101 ESPN. We have Bet the Board, 3 stars of the day, criticisms and compliments next.
Hey, it's BT here for my friends over at Diamonds Direct. Guys, if you are looking for the perfect gift at the best price, you always know that Diamonds Direct is the place to be. They've got you covered all year long. But right now, through September, it is even better. I'm talking 5 years, 0% interest financing on any Diamonds Direct purchase. It's amazing, right? Nothing is held back. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, colored gemstone jewelry. How about certified diamonds? Yes, they are all included. Even exquisite designer collections. They're all there. Basically, all the things that she's been dropping hints on for years, you can get them over at Diamonds Direct through September. 5 years, 0 interest financing. I'm telling you, go check them out. Go to diamondsdirect.com, and you're going to want to get into the showroom. You are going to love the place, guys. I'm telling you, it is the best shopping experience that you are going to have. It's like going to a friend's house. I love the place, love everybody that works there. Go check them out. 5 years, 0 interest financing at Diamonds Direct. At Olive and 270 at City Place, it's Diamonds Direct.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. If you missed anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast available at 101ESPN.com or your 101 ESPN mobile app. All brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Time to bet the board. Boy, it's been a rough month.
Carey's still in the lead. Jamie picked up a big victory. That was a huge play on his part yesterday.
What'd you have, Jamie? I forget.
Cardinals money line.
Oh, that's right.
All the way, baby.
Good job, Jamie. Now, how did you come to that pick?
I dove into the numbers, Anthony.
Okay.
I knew that there's only two teams that Paul Skeens, or two losses that Paul Skeens has. They're both to the Cardinals.
Boy, you played a good hunch.
Yeah, I figured, look, he's going to go out there, he's going to shove for about 6 innings, he's going to look like an ace.
Yeah.
But, we got Pallante on the bump, and I knew the Cardinals, with those bats, at one point they're going to get to Skeens.
Sure.
Or the other guys that pitched after him.
At some point, the dam's going to break. That was a good call. Yeah, it's a good call. Okay, Marsh, what do we got then?
So Carey added another point to his total thanks to Saquon Barkley, so he is ahead. I have yet to hit a pick in the last week. Kirk Cousins did not throw an interception.
No. He tried.
He did try a couple. He hit the guy in the first row, though.
Yeah, he did. I had Bijan Robinson over 30.5 passing yards. He had 27 about the second quarter.
Okay,
so
he didn't get
finished
there?
with 27.
Real quick, Carey, go.
I got Aaron Judge 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs.
I am taking the Cardinals money line tonight.
What do you got?
I got Phillies money line minus 140 against the Brewers.
I got the Rangers Blue Jays over 7.5. All right, Marsh, go ahead.
All right, let's get to our 3 stars of the day real quick. Our third star of the day goes out to a guy that we always talk crap about. Derek Carr.
Oh, all right, Derek Carr. Nice job, yeah.
Good job. Second star of the day goes to the poor, unappreciated bobblehead makers.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yep. And the first star of the day, it's no secret. Anthony loves it. This guy likes it. Kirky Football Cousins.
Yes. Kirky Football Cousins. Nice job. That's huge. Absolutely. All right, we've got Padres Astros pregame at 8 o'clock for you right here on 101 ESPN. That'll do it for us. For our guy, Andrew Marsh and Carey Davis and Jamie Rivers and Anthony Stalter, thank you so much for listening throughout the course of the day. We'll be back tomorrow at 2 o'clock. See you.